Hi. Yeah. Go to my dashboard. Eventually. Hello, Radio. Thanks for resubscribing. Yeah, it's been 16 months. It's crazy, isn't it? Um, yeah, we're doing something a bit different today. Uh, mhm. It sure has. Thank you for supporting me for so long. I want this to become a regular thing where we just watch like spooky videos together. Uh, Cause I love scary stuff. I love horror stuff. So I thought it would be fun to do. Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like buying time until the what's it called? The ad runs out. You got 30 seconds on that. Also, yeah, there you go. I put a little bit of a. No, it's not. It should be just chatting, right? Is the category not correct? Oh, turn it up a bit more. Is my mic low? Sorry. There you go. Sorry. Oh, this isn't my mic. This is Teddy's mic, so I don't really know how it works. Oh, wait. Is that better? There's a volume button on it. Not a button, but like a dial. I didn't see that. I guess Teddy keeps it lower because his voice is a lot louder than mine. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe he's done this. But yeah, we got the setup. Also, I changed my hair color. What do you think? Yay or nay? On the magenta hair? You're like, yeah, I think it's kind of cute. Yeah. I think you called it strawberry koalo. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I set up a little TV. Yeah, I got the big TV out so we can watch spooky videos together. Hello, hi. I put like a little overlay on it to like add to the ambiance, but like, what do you think? On or off? I thought it would look more like an old CRT, you know? This one, this is off. This is on. Like the darker one, yeah, gives it more of a thing. Yeah. All right. Hopefully. All right. I guess we'll just get into it. Enough stalling.
There's a quick check off the highway not too far away from where I live. It's the only thing open 24/7 in my rural, middle of nowhere town.
Okay.
It's about a 25-minute drive if I'm speeding, which I usually am. So to translate for all you city folk, it's basically right next door.
Okay.
My sleep schedule is beyond atrocious, so I've been to that quick check more than a handful of times. I like to think I'm pretty generic looking and nondescript, meaning I blend in well. But it wouldn't surprise me if some of the late night workers recognize me by now. This happened just last week, so most of the details are still painfully fresh in my mind.
Good?
It was past midnight, and I was coding on my laptop. My productivity and focus peak between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m.
Okay.
So I was in that flow state that any hard worker craves.
Alright.
The problem with late night grinding is that you go from perfectly comfortable to dying of hunger in a matter of minutes, which is exactly what prompted me to shut things down and grab something to eat around the reasonable hour of 2 a.m.
Spooky videos.
Just so you have an understanding of everything, I should mention that the highway leading to the Quick Check is more of a local road than an interstate, so it's usually pretty dead. The ride there was relatively uneventful. I pulled into the Quick Check, ordered a sandwich from one of the counters, and roamed the aisles while I waited.
No, it's on Sunday.
The mix of caffeine I'm usually stimmed out on and the ADHD I was born with makes it difficult for me to sit still, so I was just kind of pacing around one of the corners of the store when I noticed something.
Yeah. Cause like
Facing
spooky
one of the
Sunday.
refrigerators that lined the back of the store was a person sitting crisscross on the ground.
I like an alliteration.
It was such an odd sight that I initially overlooked it, then snapped my head back around to make sure I hadn't imagined it. And I hadn't. There was literally a person sitting on the ground at the end of the aisle, facing the refrigerator like he was examining it. I couldn't see anything other than the brown coat and jeans he was wearing. I needed to get a better look at this guy. At his face, at least. So I walked a few aisles down. My plan was to turn the corner really quickly, get a good look at him, then turn back up one of the aisles, ideally before he noticed me looking. Staring at strangers so explicitly is obviously really rude, so I didn't want him to catch me doing it. I was trying to be inconspicuous about it, or at least appear like I was browsing the snacks, but I guess I didn't do a good job of that.
Sorry. There you go.
That. Because
He
as
had
soon
no
as I turned the corner
face.
to look at him, he whipped his head around and stared back at me.
He was a
His movement
creature.
was so abrupt that I actually froze up for a few seconds, forgetting what I was even doing there in the first place. And let me tell you, one
we'll
look
see
at this
if
guy
this is
confirmed he was
scary
far
or
from
not.
normal. Forget about the sitting on
Not
the ground
really,
and staring into the
no.
refrigerator. This guy was definitely on something, which I could tell from
So
his abnormally
we'll see
wide
if this
eyes
gets
and the way his
is
lip was
scary or
vibrating,
not.
like it was fully quivering, almost as if he were cold. Except it was actually kind of hot in there, and he was also wearing a jacket.
Thank you.
His posture was all twisted up too, like he was straining instead of sitting, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But the worst thing by far was the look he was giving me. He wasn't smiling, and he wasn't scowling either.
Also, supposedly these are supposedly true stories. I don't know. There's no way to verify if they're true or not, but I guess it's like more creepy if you imagine that it's true, right? Like r/no sleep, you just like pretend that it's real.
Staring blankly at me with this dead-eye stare that made it kind of seem like he actually was dead.
I have not.
The whole
no.
scene was freaky as hell. After staring at each other for an uncomfortable amount of
Internet
time,
wouldn't
I
lie.
finally averted
No.
my eyes and dipped up one of the aisles, eager to get my food and leave.
You don't think someone
wasn't
would
ready
do
yet,
that, right? Just
I stood at the counter and waited.
go on the
The
internet.
anxiety was getting to me.
Tell lies?
So I angled myself to face the corner of the store where the guy had been sitting. I was half expecting him to emerge from one of the aisles.
How did they
at
spend
which
all
point
that
I'm not
time
sure
if
what
it
I would have
wasn't
done,
true?
But he never did. Eventually, my food was ready. I promptly left the store without another thought. I thought that was the end of it, but as I was turning to get back on the highway, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. I glanced back towards the store and saw a person running full speed from the store entrance to the far end of the parking lot.
Oh?
I was already halfway onto the highway at that point, but as soon as I saw what looked like a brown coat, I knew it was him. As I drove past the Quick Check, I looked over at it one more time to see that guy was now jumping into a truck. I didn't even want to imagine what a guy like that could possibly be rushing to do at 2 a.m. I was just happy I had nothing to do with it. I sped off, just wanting to get home in peace. After a few minutes, the last of the fluorescent storefront lights faded into darkness behind me, and I was driving
Or so
through
he
desolate
thought.
nothingness once again. I'm used to being the only car on the road when it's that late at night, which is why it was so surprising when I noticed headlights in my rearview mirror. But it was even more surprising when I realized the headlights were getting closer, meaning they were going faster than me, and I wasn't exactly driving the speed limit. My first thought was that I was about to get pulled over, so I instinctively slowed down a bit. The headlights kept approaching, and I knew what was about to happen. Police lights were about to start flashing, and my night was about to be ruined. But once the car finally got close enough, I I realized it wasn't a cop.
It was the creature.
It was that guy.
Oh.
That guy from the quick check. It was the same car from the parking lot. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. I slammed my foot back on the gas and got back up to speed. The guy behind me started flashing his lights at me and honking, and I didn't know what to do. Try and outrun him or pull over and just pray that he'd keep going. I was in a sedan and he was driving a pickup truck, so I figured I could outrun him.
It was a truck.
The faster I
He
went,
said it
though,
was a truck,
the more
not
terrified
a car.
I became.
Fake story.
I can only describe that feeling as true terror. The feeling that you're literally approaching death. By the time I'd gotten up to 100 miles per hour, the voice in my head was screaming that I was going to die if I kept accelerating. I swerved into the right lane, hoping he'd shoot by me, but instead, he actually swerved to stay behind me.
What the fuck?
I started slowing down with the intention of pulling over on the shoulder, but the moment I took my foot off the gas, the truck actually rammed into me. I grabbed the wheel to stabilize the car and realized I was in a life or death situation. The guy tailing me was trying to kill me. Everything was happening so fast.
Maybe you just forgot your
think.
change.
I knew he was going to try ramming me again, and at that speed, I knew I would be lucky not to
oh
spin
no,
out.
you forgot your change.
I don't know if it was the terror or my
his
survival
change.
instincts kicking in, but the moment I saw him go for it, I swerved to the left and slammed on the brakes. The truck shot past me, and I watched as he swerved back and forth a few times before spinning out and shooting off the highway into the field. Despite how violently my hands were shaking and how terrified I was, I forced myself to start driving again.
Yeah.
I sped the entire way home. As soon as I got inside, I called the police and reported the incident, although it's not like I could precisely describe where everything had gone down. They took my statement anyway, and I was happy to give it. I know for a fact that Quick Check had security cameras in their parking lot, so I'm pretty confident they'll end up catching that guy. It's only been a week since this happened, but I haven't heard anything yet. My car isn't dinged up too badly, but I still need to get it repaired. As for why in the world that guy had gone after me, your guess is as good as mine. I just hope I never see him again.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. That wasn't particularly scary. What did he look like? He said he was like a really tall looking guy. Who was like all hunched over and stuff, and just looked kind of creepy. And he gets his stuff. He leaves the store, and then he sees the guy bolt, run into his car and start driving. And then he starts and then he's on the road, and he sees this man driving really fast, trying to catch up to him. And he crashes his car into his truck, into his car. If these are true stories, of course there's not gonna be a monster. I don't know. But in terms of scary, I don't know. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I give that a 3 out of 10 on the scary scale. Let's see if Steve has a more interesting story for us. Monsters are real? Yeah, I guess. They usually don't look like
in the summer of 2022.
monsters, though.
I was 25 and working what I guess you'd call an unusual logistics job.
Leave the cat?
I was hauling refurbished electronics and custom PC parts for this last mile delivery startup that was trying to compete with Amazon and weird...
Steve, are you writing stories online? Why is it when you look over and your cat is scratching themselves or something, they look at you like they're doing something wrong? They're like, oh. Like you caught them doing something bad. Yeah, would it be scary to have happen? Yeah, but it isn't a great story unless you knew the person telling it. Yeah, definitely.
Rural markets. The routes were long and completely erratic.
Happens to me
Sometimes
all
I'd be
the
driving
time. I
for
don't even
12
have a
hours
cat.
straight, often through the night, hitting these remote parts of the
Yeah,
Southwest
it's like,
that
look
most
at you,
delivery
like you
companies
caught them
refuse to
doing
touch.
something bad.
The
Like,
pay was
oh.
decent enough to make it worth it, and I didn't mind the long drive since I had grown up in a road tripping type family. This particular night, I was deep into the final leg of a Phoenix to Lovington run. It was around 1 in the morning, and I was winding through this desolate stretch of Route 82, past the outskirts of Lincoln National Forest in southern New Mexico. If you've never driven through that area at night, it's hard to describe how isolated it feels. The road is narrow and poorly lit. You might see another car every 20 or 30 minutes if you're lucky, but here's the thing about that particular stretch. It's also the only accessible route cutting through the area for miles. The GPS alternatives would add like 2 hours to the trip, winding you way north through Carrizozo or something like that. So if you needed to get from point A to point B in that part of New Mexico, you pretty much have to take Route 82. Anyway,
And
I
it's
was
full
listening
of
to some true crime podcasts when I rounded this bend and saw a red hatchback awkwardly pulled onto the gravel shoulder with its hazards flashing.
Should you really be listening
slowed down
to
a bit
true
out of habit.
crime podcasts
As
while
I got
driving
closer,
alone at
my
night?
headlights illuminated a woman standing next to the car. She was holding her phone high in the air like she was trying to catch a signal. My first instinct was to just drive past. I mean, I'm not heartless, but I'm also not naive about the kinds of situations you can walk into in that part of the state at that time of night. But then I started thinking about my own girlfriend or my sister and how I would want someone to stop if they were stranded in the middle of nowhere. Plus, I wasn't completely defenseless. I had a Glock 43 holstered just under my steering
He's
column.
got a Glock.
I never explained.
Man's literally got a Glock in his Rari. Hang on. There you go. It's Nitro. It's Teddy's dog. He's a Pomeranian, and if you know anything about Pomeranians, is that they're very Nitro. Yeah. You know, like Discord Nitro? Yeah, Nitro. Yeah. He's a Pomeranian, and if you know anything about Pomeranians, they're very talkative. Any little thing, he'll be barking.
Explicitly got permission from the company.
Why does Teddy name his pets like persons? I don't know. Yeah, Nitro, Steve. Yeah. What the fuck is that dog barking about? Tell him to get friends. He has plenty of friends. More friends than I do, definitely. Why is he barking so loud? Some Pomeranians just like to hear themselves bark, I think. Honestly, probably. You know what it is? Oh yeah. Or Teddy's dad probably got home from work. Yeah, he gets really excited when anyone comes home. Even if we weren't gone for very long. If we leave for like 15 minutes to go to the store to get something, we come back, he's like, oh my god, you're home, oh my god. Oh my god, you were gone for so long.
Company to arm myself, but given some of the areas we delivered to, it seems like common sense to me. I slowed down and cracked the passenger window a couple inches. The woman, who didn't seem much older than me, rushed over immediately and tried my passenger door handle, which was locked.
That's weird.
She said she needed a ride to the nearest gas station and claimed her car had just died and she couldn't get anyone on the phone. Her voice had this jittery quality to it, like she was either really stressed or maybe on something.
I don't trust that. I don't. I'm sorry. If it was during the day, I might be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. But like at night, like I don't know. I mean, he has a gun, so maybe that's why he feels comfy. No, it's the same thing with a man. I don't trust it. It's too scary. You never know. I think, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I feel. I don't know. I guess he said he's okay because he has a gun, but like, I don't know. What if she also has a gun?
I hesitated for a few seconds. The situation felt a little
Yeah, I
off,
never pick someone
but
up
what
at
tipped
night.
the scale was knowing I had a firearm within reach. I figured if things got sketchy, I'd be able to handle myself, so I unlocked the door. She got in quickly and gave me this vague and slightly slurred "thank you so much" without really looking at me. The way she slurred her words made me think she was drunk or maybe a little tipsy, which made me a little cautious. Before driving away, I asked her some obvious questions. Had she hit something, or did the engine cut out, that sort of thing. But she kept deflecting, repeatedly asking me to just drive.
Okay.
Nothing she said really made sense.
Not okay.
And I was leaning towards kicking her out of my car the more she talked.
This is not okay.
I was about to make a decision when I glanced over at her car one more time. To my horror, a man stepped out from behind it like he had been hiding there the whole time. The adrenaline started to kick, and I turned to face forward. There was another figure that had stepped directly in front of the road about 50 feet
Oh
in
shit,
front of
he's
us.
getting jumped.
There was something long in his hands, maybe a bat or a pipe. I couldn't tell exactly.
He's getting jumped.
He started moving toward my car, and that's when my survival instinct took over. I floored it.
Oh my god.
I tried to be subtle about it. The woman whipped around to look back and immediately started yelling. Then she reached down and started digging around in her purse for something.
She has a gun.
I had a feeling I knew what she was looking for.
She has a gun.
So before things could escalate, I yelled at her to freeze and drew my gun. I didn't point it at her, but instead just rested it on the steering wheel so she could see it. Whatever she had been reaching for, she stopped immediately. I told her not to move, and she didn't. To my surprise, she stopped talking too. She just stared straight ahead with this expression I couldn't read. Luckily for her, we were less than 30 minutes from Artesia.
Open the car door and push her out.
After a somewhat tense half hour,
what if she has her
seatbelt
seatbelt on?
Station. There were 2 other vehicles in the lot, both big rigs. I told her to get out. She refused at first and gave me some stupid reason I can't remember, but I leaned across her, yanked the passenger door open, and basically forced her out of the truck. She stumbled back and fell onto the pavement, all the while yelling something completely incomprehensible. Someone started jogging over, probably one of the truckers, and I could already envision the accusations that were about to fly.
Yeah, that looks
all
really
that guy
sus.
had seen was me throwing a woman out of the car.
Yeah, that looks
and I didn't want
sus.
to deal with the situation for a second longer, so I didn't. I yelled out a warning to him about her ill intentions, but that was all I was going to do. Then I peeled out of the lot before that guy could approach me and didn't look back. I drove to another gas station and started filling my tank.
Okay.
Then I walked over to the passenger side to inspect the seat. Buried between the seat cushions was a burner phone battery and a sealed pack of zip ties. I didn't even want to think about it. I tossed all of it in the trash and got back on the road, eager to be done with the journey.
Holy shit.
I never reported any of it.
Why?
Not to the police, and definitely not to my company. Not because I didn't think it was worth reporting, but because, legally speaking, I didn't really want to explain to a bunch of cops why I was driving around armed, or why I'd physically removed someone from my car. I'm not going to get into it, but you can connect the dots on that one yourself.
Is he a felon? Wait. Because he said he didn't want to explain to the cops why he was driving around armed. In America, you're allowed to have a gun, right? Does he not have the proper permits for the gun? Is he not allowed to have a gun? That's kind of I don't know. This guy seems kind of sus. almost got jumped. I didn't want to explain why I had a gun. Wait, why did he have a gun? Well, like in America, it's not uncommon for people to carry. So like, so they like he not. So he's not. That is that gun not registered? Is he not? Is he? Did he like commit some sort of crime that makes it so he's not allowed to have a gun? So it makes it sound like he doesn't. Yeah, and then he doesn't explain, and he just says, "Oh, you can connect the dots." What the fuck dots am I supposed to connect? Is this man? Is this man a felon? Either that or the company he worked for didn't want him carrying. Some truck companies don't like that. A buddy of mine got fired from him for carrying a gun despite having a permit. Oh, okay, all right. That's fucking crazy though. That's crazy.
One thing's for sure, though. Being armed that night may have very well saved my life.
I guess so. I don't think those are the dots he wants connected, though. I don't know.
About 3 years ago.
Okay. Rating for that one? Yeah, much better story. Much better tone. I will say that the story was actually a lot more scary than some tall dude hit my car. Yeah. This, cause like, with the tall guy, like there's not really a lot there, but like with this one, like the danger was very apparent. You know, it's like two guys were about to like jump him, and like fucking I assume they probably gonna kill him for the stuff that was in the truck so they could sell it or something like that. Like he would have been like fucked. So that was a lot scary. That was definitely a lot better. See, that's actually how they craft people. You pull over for one reason or another, and people jump you. Like what happened in the story? Yeah, and they use the woman to lure him in because people are probably more likely to pull over for a woman than they would for a man. And you know, so they decided to use that to their advantage, which is very bad because that makes people wary of helping people. Like I said, they use women, babies, and children. Yeah, because people aren't as suspicious. Which is why, like, yeah, if it was during the day, most people probably wouldn't mind helping a woman who was like, who seemed to be stranded on the road. But because it was like late at night, that's like really sus. It's super late at night. There's nobody else in the road. It's very dark. You know, since she's said to be drunk / intoxicated, likely some form of addict that where they're giving supplies to his payment for being bait. Yeah, that too. All in all, that was a very scary situation. Like he could have been fucked. I'm still iffy about the gun though.
My husband and I were driving cross country from Utah to Georgia. Although the route we had mapped out wasn't the most direct, it passed through some places my husband really wanted to visit.
Could have been nervous.
The downside of that, though, is that we'd be cutting through some pretty desolate stretches of highway. The worst part was this section of western Kansas along US Route 400, basically 100 miles of nothing but farmland. We'd been driving for most of the day, and I had fallen asleep in the passenger seat sometime around sunset. I'm one of those people who can sleep anywhere in a moving car, so I was out cold for a few hours. Around 10 at night, I woke up to the car slowing down and realized my husband had pulled into this tiny gas station off the side.
It's not like, oh no, Slenderman ate my whole ass at Denny's and all I got was a stupid t-shirt, so it dumps it like that. But it was scary because it's pretty realistic and you do enough to know the stakes. Yeah. Yeah.
Side of the highway. My husband said he was going to grab
I
some
give that a
snacks and
solid
fill up
5
the tank.
out of 10.
I figured it might have been my last chance for a while to use a real bathroom, so I got out and headed inside. I didn't bother bringing my phone or purse with me. I mean, I was just going to be in and out, so I didn't really see the need.
Oh no.
The cashier was this older guy who didn't even look up when I walked in. The bathrooms were tucked down this narrow side hallway toward the back of the store. As I opened the women's restroom door, I almost bumped right into this woman who was coming out of one of the stalls, which wouldn't have been that noteworthy were it not for what she looked like.
Okay.
She had messy, unkempt gray hair that frankly looked kind of disgusting and oddly sticky. She was also wearing these foam flip-flops that made this soft slapping sound.
Jesus Christ. I was ready for her to damn. She just hey, she's just going to the gas station. Hey, Miranda, I'm sure you didn't look prim and proper on your trip to the gas station bathroom after sleeping in the car for 4 hours. You weren't eating, you weren't slaying. Come on now, you're probably wearing like a band t-shirt and sweatpants. Like come on now. Foam flip-flops.
When she walked. As if that wasn't bizarre enough, what stood out the most was this thick purple and green coat she was wrapped in. Let me remind you, we were in Kansas in the middle of summer, and it was probably 80 degrees out. She was carrying this tied-up plastic grocery bag, and when she saw me, she just stared. Not like a normal, oh, excuse me kind of look, but this locked-on stare that felt weirdly expectant, like she
bumps into some poor little old lady. She just like, look at this raggedy ass. Oh, she looks like she stuck a fork in an outlet. She's wearing flip-flops. Oh, God forbid. Oh, God forbid, flip-flops.
was waiting for me to say or do something specific. I didn't know what I was expected to do, so I just gave her a polite nod and tried to step around her, but she didn't exactly rush to let me through. I figured that was the end of it, that she'd leave me and I could get on with my life. But
Miranda,
no,
this is how
instead of leaving,
generational
the woman
curses
actually turned
start.
around to follow me and stepped toward the sink area. But she didn't turn on the water or look in the mirror.
You should
or do
give her
any
a
of the normal
dollar or
things you do
something
at a
so she
sink.
doesn't curse you.
She just stood there with her arms at her sides, like she was again waiting for me to do something. I was already feeling uneasy, so I went into the nearest stall and locked it. The second I sat down, I immediately regretted not bringing my phone or anything with me. I had no way to text my husband if something went wrong, and I was starting to get the feeling that something was definitely off about this woman. I sat there for what felt like a few minutes, just waiting for her to leave. Eventually, I heard the soft slap of her flip-flops moving toward the door, then the sound of the bathroom door opening and slamming shut.
Okay.
I waited a few extra moments to make sure she was really gone, and then I realized something. I could still hear breathing. Not my own, someone else's, coming from somewhere in the bathroom. It dawned on me that she had faked leaving. She must have opened and slammed the door to make it seem like she left, but she was still in there.
I mean, to be fair, she didn't say anything to her face. She's like, oh my, she probably looked at her and thought like, ugh, but she didn't say ugh, you know.
Silently somewhere near the exit, probably in the corner by the door, just out of my line of sight. I didn't move. I sat in complete silence for a really long time, trying to quiet my breathing because I was terrified at the thought of her hearing me. The whole time, I kept thinking about how stupid I was for not bringing my phone. Eventually, the door was opened and closed again. The breathing stopped too, which sent a wave of relief over me. I still wasn't completely convinced though, so I waited for another half-minute or so. Just as I was about to unlock the stall, I heard a huge gasp, like someone had just been holding their breath, followed by the bathroom door opening and closing again. That's when I truly started freaking out. That woman had pretended to leave the bathroom twice. I had absolutely no idea what she wanted, but the fact that she was playing these games with me made it clear that whatever it wasn't good. I didn't know what to do. Part of me was sure she was gone,
there. It's not like
but if she had pretended to leave twice, it wasn't crazy to assume she had done it a third time. Finally, the suspense was killing me, and I couldn't take it anymore. I unlocked the stall as quietly as I could and stepped out, fully expecting to see her standing there, but the bathroom was empty.
Okay.
I washed my hands as quickly as possible and stepped out of the bathroom. I had no idea where the woman had gone or if she was waiting for me somewhere else in the store. When I got back to the main part of the store, there was this large man checking out at the counter. I lingered by one of the racks near the front until he finished his transaction and walked out. Then I used him as cover to exit the store.
Oh my god.
I figured if the woman was waiting outside, at least there would be another person around. Part of me thought I was being overly paranoid, but that thought was shattered.
I mean, she's just an old lady. What's she gonna do?
As soon as I exited the store, I saw her again. She was lingering off to the side of the front entrance of the store.
What's he gonna do?
Clearly glaring at me. Original. She was holding something in her hand that I couldn't quite make out.
A knife.
Looked like a knife, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, maybe not.
The way she was holding it, though, and the way she was slightly crouched, like she was preparing to spring, honestly made it seem like she was about to attack me.
I think Miranda is just, I gotta say it, I think Miranda is just paranoid. I think Miranda saw the old lady, got a little scared, and is now projecting her scared, her fears onto this old woman. People do be crazy, yeah, but like she was just a bit weird. Like she wasn't like, I don't know. I didn't glean any red flags. Are you like, the heck? She wasn't doing anything. She was just being a bit weird. She didn't do anything that made me think that she would be dangerous.
Or even fight, but instead of moving toward me, the woman quickly turned and walked around the side of the building toward the back. I ran to our car and got in as fast as I could. My husband looked confused and asked what had taken me so long. I told him I'd explain once we were back on the road. He didn't question me and just pulled away. As we were leaving, I looked back and saw the woman standing at the edge of the building, watching our car. I don't know why, but seeing her made me so unsettled and uncomfortable. I told my husband everything, and he kind of got mad at me for not bringing my phone with me to call him for help.
Also, yeah, fucking yeah, why would you not bring your phone with you if you're going to the gas station? That seems a bit silly. Even just like, I don't know, he just went to get gas and maybe some snacks. Right? So like, let's say like he finishes doing all of that and he's in the car and he doesn't see you in the car and he didn't see you at the gas station because you're in the bathroom. He's gonna be like, where did you go? Wouldn't it be good to have your phone so you could text and be like, oh, I'm in the bathroom, I'll be out. Like, it's good to bring, you know, like, or am I just a Zoomer who can't live without her phone? Is that what that is? Yes. Why is everyone saying yes? I always have my phone, wallet, and a multi tool. That's smart. That's smart. Yeah, not as good. Better than the first, not as good as the second. Yeah, definitely.
Fair. But that was that. And the two of us agreed to try and forget about the whole thing.
I think I'd give it like a...
ourselves.
What did I give? I gave the other one a 2,
use roadside restrooms anymore, which I'm not in the slightest bit upset about.
I think I give this one like a... I give the last one a 3. I give this one a 2. Yeah.
This happened to me in 2020.
Give this and the first one a 1.5.
I was 24 at the time,
yeah.
working for a small logistics company. My job was to deliver automotive parts between cities in the Midwest. Most of the time it was
Yeah,
easy work.
the last
long
one
drives,
I gave a 5.
decent pay,
The
and
first
nobody
one I
breathing
gave
down
like
my
a
neck.
3, I think.
But that job is also the reason I will never stop at a highway rest area after dark again. It was mid-January, freezing cold, the kind of night where even the dashboard lights feel too bright. I was driving along the I-80 heading east from Des Moines, on my way to deliver a package to Davenport. The drive was about 3.5 hours. I'd left around 8 p.m., and by 10:30 I was in the middle of nowhere. Just the sound of the tires on the asphalt and the occasional semi blowing by in the opposite lane. Around that time, I started to get really drowsy. My eyelids felt heavy, and I could feel myself zoning out.
Knees weak. Falling spaghetti, I'm sorry. No, this is the 4th one.
Spotted one of those blue rest area 1 mile signs and decided to pull off for a few minutes to stretch my legs and grab a drink from the vending machine. The rest stop looked completely deserted. A few dim streetlights, a small brick building with restrooms, and about a dozen parking spaces. Only one other vehicle was there, an old white van parked way off at the end of the lot, lights off. I parked under one of the lights, locked the truck, and went inside.
That's probably the
men's
air
room
fryer.
smelled faintly of cleaning solution and mildew. The heater was
Is
making
your
a
immersion
weird rattling
broken?
noise. I washed my face with cold water to wake up, and when I looked up into the mirror, I thought I heard the door open behind me. I turned, but no one was there. I stood still for a second, just listening, but there was nothing but the hum of the heater. I figured it was just the wind, and finished up quickly. When I stepped outside, I noticed something that made me stop. The white van's headlights were now on. The engine wasn't running, but the lights were on.
Must have been.
I don't remember hearing it start. I got this bad feeling immediately. I unlocked my truck fast, then I climbed in and started the engine.
Walking?
I pulled out of the parking space and headed toward the exit. As I did, the van's lights suddenly shut off again. I remember thinking maybe someone was sleeping in there and just accidentally hit the lights. But as I got back on the highway, I kept checking my mirrors. For about 5 minutes, nothing happened. Then, in the distance behind me, I saw headlights. 2 small dots getting closer.
Haunted free
it was the van.
Before
At first, I wasn't sure.
It got delayed
as it got
again,
closer,
didn't it?
I could see it was the same boxy white van. No company logo, no side windows, just a dirty cargo van. It caught up to me fast and got right on my tail.
Ask him if he has any candy. I'm sure he has candy.
I was already going about 75, but the van stayed inches behind my bumper. Then it switched lanes, sped up beside me, and matched my speed. The driver rolled down his window halfway. I could barely see his face, just a shadow and maybe a baseball cap.
It's crazy.
He motioned for me to roll mine down, but I didn't. He kept gesturing and then pointed at my truck bed, like he was trying to tell me something was wrong. At first, I hesitated. Maybe one of my straps had come loose or something fell out, but then I noticed something that didn't make sense. There was nothing in the bed of the truck. It was completely empty. That's when I realized he wasn't trying to warn me. I kept driving, pretending not to notice him, but he started honking and drifting closer to my lane. I swerved slightly to keep distance,
they might respond better
and he
to
sped
that.
ahead,
Weird.
cutting in front of
Crazy.
me. For a second, I thought he was going to slam on the brakes, but then, without warning, he veered onto the shoulder and came to a full stop. I flew past him, my heart pounding. I stayed in the fast lane, going nearly 90 now, just trying to get away. A few seconds later, I checked my mirror again. The van was back on the road. It followed me for another 20 miles.
People driving are scary.
Sometimes it would fade back until I couldn't see it.
I mean,
then
it's
out of
just
nowhere,
the live
speed
van,
up again
dude.
and appear right behind me.
I don't see what's so scary.
I decided
about
I needed to
that.
stop somewhere public. The next sign said there was a truck stop 5 miles ahead. I took that exit first, pulled into the lot, and parked right under a bright light near the diesel pumps. There were a few semis lined up, and I could see a few drivers inside through the windows of the diner next door.
Yeah, some drivers
The van didn't pull in immediately. I waited maybe 2 minutes. Then it came slowly up the ramp and into the lot. I got out of my truck and headed straight into the diner. As soon as I walked in, the bell above the door rang, and the woman behind the counter looked up. She was maybe in her 50s. I told her that a van had been following me
not a
for the last
single-
half hour,
Yeah.
and she must have seen how shaken I was
Teddy
because
is
she
always
called over the
raging
trucker
at
sitting at the counter.
drivers. The problem with
This
these
guy stood
stories
up,
is that there's
huge
no
guy,
twists.
flannel shirt, gray beard. He walked outside with me, and the second we stepped out, we saw the van idling at the far end of the lot, just sitting there, facing my truck. The trucker muttered something like, "Yeah, that ain't good," and told me to go back inside. He walked straight toward the van. I didn't hear what he said, but a few seconds later, the van suddenly reversed, swung around, and peeled out of the lot, heading back toward the highway. The trucker came back, shaking his head. He said there were two guys in there, both wearing hoodies, both just staring straight ahead, not saying a word. I stayed in that diner for almost an hour, until I was sure they were gone. I finished the rest of my drive with my eyes glued to the rearview mirror. When I got back to Davenport, I parked under the hotel lights and checked my truck. Everything was fine, but there were two smudges on the tailgate,
my favorite.
like someone had tried to open it with dirty hands.
Most of the
I quit that job a few months later.
Just crazy.
Now, every time I drive long distance, I fill up before dark, bring snacks, and I don't stop unless it's somewhere crowded and open 24 hours.
Yeah? It's crazy, dude. It's crazy, broski. Alright. Let's see. Alright, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah, not very good. I think it's just people, when driving at night, people get a little spooked and they think things are a lot scarier than they actually are. You just saw a white van and you got scared because, like, it's a white van. That was it. It was just a white van. Okay, and it's
on the 22nd of November, 2019, at
you
around
didn't have
8
free
p.m.,
candies. It's
the
just a
doorbell camera
van.
at a home in
It's
Harriet
just a
Creek Ranch,
van.
Texas, captured footage of a young girl approaching the front door. She was holding a flashlight and looked extremely
I think 2 wins just because something happened and there was a twist of something not being what it was at first glance. Yeah, definitely. 2 was definitely a much better story. Alright, this one is moments caught on Ring cameras. If you know, like those like doorbells with the security camera in it. Sometimes really funny stuff happens. And sometimes not so funny stuff happens. There was I once saw, like, it was a video. It was like a guy and a girl. I think they went on a date or something. So they go over to the house and he's like, "Don't you have the key?" And she's like, "Why would I have the key?" He's like, "Is this not your house?" She's like, "No." It's like, you don't live here? It's like, "Yeah, no, why would I live here? This isn't my house." Why did you bring him here? I think maybe it was her house, but she just changed her mind on their way over there, and then she's just telling him, like, "No, I don't live here," so he would leave. Mr. Ballin is a good storyteller. Yeah? Yeah, let's see. He be ballin'. Mr. Ballin'. He be ballin'. Alright, let's see. Yeah. Something creepy. Something strange. Arcane, even. Yes. Alright. We'll watch the Ring cameras and then we'll look into Mr. Ballin. I also have a couple ghost videos as well. What do you guys think about ghosts? Do you think ghosts are real or nah?
At around 8 p.m., a doorbell camera at a home in
I'm on the fence.
on the 22nd of November, 2019.
I think giving this guy another chance is good. Nope.
Camera at a
No.
home in Harriet Creek Ranch, Texas, captured footage of a young girl approaching the front door. She was holding a flashlight and looked extremely distressed. She also kept checking behind her, likely to see if someone was following her or not.
You have more proof of ghosts if they were real?
Unfortunately for her, the house she approached was empty. The residents were away on vacation, so no one was
If
there
ghosts
to
were
answer.
real, then there would still be a way to explain them, right?
Please help!
Oh.
By the time the homeowners noticed the footage, it was already too late.
Oh no.
The little girl was long gone, and there were no signs of her anywhere in the neighborhood.
Oh,
but the big question remained, who the girl was, and why she had come to their door in such a frightened state that night. The homeowners didn't recognize her, and she didn't look like any of the neighbors' kids either, so they contacted the police and also uploaded the footage online, hoping the video might reach someone with more information on her.
Up.
Sadly, it's been 6 years since this footage was captured, and no one has been able to identify the young girl. That said, people online have come up with a few theories that might contain some truth.
Things can't be explained.
The more cynical side of the internet believes the girl was nothing more than bait for a group of robbers hiding just outside the camera's view. It's a known tactic where robbers send a scared-looking child or woman to the front door. Out of concern, the homeowner opens the door to help, only for the robbers to appear from hiding and force their way inside. However, this theory doesn't really hold up when you consider just how genuinely distressed the girl sounded.
Yeah.
Her voice and the frantic way she knocked seemed too real for a child that age to be faking. The more likely and more tragic theory is that this girl was 9-year-old Serenity Dennard, who had gone missing earlier that year. Serenity had been diagnosed with reactive detachment disorder and disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, which caused emotional instability and frequent attempts to run away. She was admitted to Black Hills Children's Home, a youth treatment facility near Rockerville, South Dakota. Unfortunately, the staff weren't able to keep a proper eye on her, resulting in her running away from the facility on the 3rd of February 2019.
That is so
a massive search
disgusting. How can, like, this is a facility for mentally ill children. How can you let, how can you not keep an eye on the children in your care? Especially if you know that this child in particular has a propensity to run away. Shouldn't you be like extra careful and make sure that she can't run away? Make sure everything's locked. Like there's somebody around her all the time. Like how does that happen?
Involving over 1,200 people was launched, but despite their best efforts,
that's so terrible.
They couldn't find any clues about her whereabouts. The working theory was that she likely ran into the wooded area surrounding the facility, got lost, and succumbed to hyperthermia.
Aww.
However, police didn't rule out foul play. This is where the mysterious doorbell footage comes in. Many speculated that the girl in the video was Serenity, who had gone missing 9 months earlier. It's possible that a kidnapper took her to another state, and after months in captivity, she escaped and tried to ask for help.
There's only so much you can do. It's possible it was negligence, but if a kid wants to run away, they will.
Many people online still believe it was.
Also, we don't know if this little girl is Serenity.
Investigators weren't able to find Serenity, and search efforts were officially suspended in early 2021. The girl in the haunting doorbell video was never identified either, leaving her case
1800s. Most of us is built out of wood because it was 1800s. There are a few theories as
on the morning of July 31st,
how or why, but regardless, there's a gigantic fire that burnt down over 60% of the city, said to be haunted by the people who died during
their home in Sydney, Ohio after breakfast.
Creepy.
While making their way inside, an unknown car pulled into their driveway. A second later, the driver approached the front door. 22-year-old James Rail, Allison's ex-boyfriend.
Oh no.
The two had broken up over 18 months earlier and hadn't spoken since.
Oh god.
The night before, he had sent her a creepy voice note saying he would visit her the next day.
Hi, Allie. It's James.
God. think you saw this?
I just wanted to reach out to you because I just wanted to see how you're doing. And maybe hear from you if that would be alright, I guess. It's been a while since I've talked to you, and
gee, I wonder why.
I don't know. I feel like it. I don't know what I feel. I do know that I do want to talk to you, though. I do. It'd be nice.
Yeah? Bro, just stop talking. You ain't digging your grave anymore. You're toggling to China. Right? Like, dude.
If you want tomorrow, you could probably,
dude.
give me a
No.
call.
No. This is bad. 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 Oh, God.
Yeah, it's about it. Please give me a call back.
She won't. She won't.
Allison never responded or gave permission, but he showed up anyway. She recognized him through the live camera feed and decided to ignore him. After about 3 minutes, James left the porch, only to circle the house looking for another way in. When that failed, he returned to the front door again and began trying to break his way in.
Give me a call sometime. It's been a while since I've heard from you, but it was like 5 minutes of rambling.
Started forcing it, with James refusing to stop.
I just want to talk.
Allison's father was left with no choice but to use his firearm, ending the confrontation minutes later.
Oh!
The family had already called the police, but no one could have anticipated the scene that awaited them.
That's what you
Allison
get.
and her dad were questioned, and her father later stood trial on August 4th, 2022.
Fuck around, find out. Didn't know about the recording, though.
Were you aware of the text messages that James had sent your daughter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so your daughter did not share those with you? No. Okay.
Thanks to the doorbell camera footage, he was acquitted of all charges on the basis of self-defense.
I shoot somebody trying to break in and hurt my daughter, too. Yeah.
On the night of January 18th, 2025, a
ERB,
homeowner
wife
in
wants you to
Carrollton,
help
North
cook?
Texas,
Yeah?
received a doorbell
Have
notification
fun.
while out shopping. When she checked the live feed, she saw a mysterious man standing on her porch dressed in all black with a red face.
Excuse me? Revelation. Oh, that's definite. No, that's one of the fire. That's one of the fire and brimstone chapters, isn't it? Like trick or treat. Ain't no way. Oh, dude. No, that's scary. That's scary. That's scary. Oh my god. Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy. Oh god. No. No. It would be in a situation. Oh, oops. Hang on. Let's look it up. What is it? Revelation. I think it's chapter 10, verse 105. Oh, Revelations 10, verse 1 to 15. Okay. Revelation 10, 1 to 15. Let's see. Welcome everyone to my Christian stream. Let's go. Okay. I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed in the crowd. A rainbow was on his head, and his face was like this. Okay. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look particularly creepy. Still. Okay. Still, I think it's really fucking strange to see a man wearing a red mask. Okay. And then wearing a red mask and then that's fucked up. I think it's a devil mask or something, can't tell. Yeah, I think it's a goat. I think it's supposed to be a goat, like the horns or something. Yeah. Fucking creepy though.
Holding what looked like a cardboard box. He moved closer.
It's a free country, ain't it?
Satanic goat mask.
Yeah, okay. It was a goat
He rang
mask.
the doorbell and then walked away, leaving behind a sign with the
20.
words Revelation chapter 20.
20, not 10. Okay. Well, that's different. I couldn't say that it was. I couldn't tell. Hello, Laughing Stock. Hi, we're watching creepy videos. Yeah, no, I feel like this one is gonna be a scary one. Which, like, it's like, what the fuck, though? How's my weekend been? It's been pretty good. Okay. Well, this one is talking about, like, okay, this is, like, a lot more of, like, end of days, kind of stuff. Okay. That's, I don't know. Maybe he was like, oh, I wanna, he decided that knocking on the door, being like, hello, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, wasn't getting the message across. So he's like, no, okay. I need to be more assertive. I need to wow them. Honey, get me the goat mask. Dear God.
Verses 1 to 15. The verse references the binding of Satan, resurrection, judgment, and eternal torment, making the visit even more disturbing.
Creepy.
The homeowner called the police, but since the man hadn't committed a crime, they couldn't do much. As he later said in an interview.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Manager. It is indeed a free country. And walking around in a satanic ghost mask, ringing people's doorbells while holding up signs with Bible verses on them is not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. There's nothing illegal. That is absolutely why you should put a no soliciting sign, yes. I mean, I guess to be fair, it isn't a crime. You might get put on a shirt if you go to the wrong house doing that. Absolutely. Some people might shoot you. And you can't really blame them.
I'm scared to leave the house. I'm scared to be at the house.
Yeah,
the story was later dropped by the media, and no follow-up information was ever reported.
Yeah? I feel like that's a public safety issue. I feel like we should find this man. Even, okay, he hasn't committed any crime, sure, whatever, but I feel like we should find him? Maybe just to, you know?
On July 21st, 2023, 2 elderly women visited the home of their friend, 58-year-old Sharon Gordon, in Dudley, UK.
Yeah?
They hadn't heard from her in days, and upon entering, they discovered her lying face down near the stairs, covered in blood.
Oh.
Police arrived quickly and confirmed it was a
Leave the
homicide.
man alone.
Investigators then checked the doorbell footage, which showed the last visitor to Sharon's home, her contractor, Peter Norgrove. He initially claimed Sharon was alive when he left, but footage revealed him leaving with bloodstains on his trousers.
Oh! Probably
Investigators
just
also
a
found the
prank.
weapon he used in his shed, and he later confessed. Sharon had hired him to build an extension, but after 15 months of delays and poor work, she confronted him. Peter lost his temper and attacked her with a hammer. He later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah,
On
fuck
October
you for
6th,
that.
2024,
Jesus.
Kristen Paul was
Oh
watching
no,
TV
you're gonna
at her
tell me that I'm not doing my job well? Die. Fuck you for that. What the fuck?
home in Fresno, California, waiting for her husband to return.
Ugh.
Just after midnight, the
Disgusting.
doorbell rang. Assuming it was her husband, she opened the door, only to find an unknown woman with a crazed look. Christine slammed the door shut, but the woman became enraged and began trying to force it open. When that failed, she tried breaking in through a nearby window. Christine called the police while arming herself for protection. Luckily, an officer arrived within minutes and de-escalated the situation.
Hi. Hi.
What?
Somebody tell me. So why are you banging on the door? Because my friend is there.
Right.
Despite her erratic behavior, the woman immediately calmed down when confronted by police and was taken into custody.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know this is like a very serious / scary situation, but the fact that she was wearing a Rick and Morty shirt is kind of sending me. Like, she's wearing
Erratic behavior, the woman
a Rick and Morty shirt. Average Rick and Morty fan. You're sending the new word of the week. This is the second time you heard it today. It's been around. Oh fuck.
immediately calmed down when confronted by police and was taken into custody. Christine later said she was just thankful the officer wasn't a minute later. On August 12,
What
2025,
beef were they having?
the Wilson family was asleep in their home in Midlothian, Texas. At around 1 a.m., 21-year-old Malia noticed a bright flash outside. When she ran downstairs,
Running around
she
in a
saw their
t-shirt
front
and
yard
panties
engulfed in
in the middle of
flames,
the
just inches from the house.
She wasn't
halfway
wearing
down the
pants. I
stairs, and
just
seen
realized that.
This window right here just lit up in flames, and I just ran and got my dad.
She woke her father, who called the fire department. Firefighters arrived within minutes and extinguished the flames before they reached the home. The doorbell camera revealed that someone had poured gasoline around the house and set it on fire before fleeing. The suspect wore a hoodie and mask, concealing their identity. The homeowner, Darrell Wilson, believed the attack was retaliation for a lawsuit he had filed against a former employer.
Okay.
However, police had not caught the arsonist, leaving the family terrified the
Fresno
attacker
has a
might
big
return.
problem with meth, yeah?
In the early morning of March 11th, 2025,
Oh,
a
dude, this
homeowner
is
in
this
North
year.
York, Pennsylvania, was awoken by strange movement on their porch. The footage showed a person wearing a colorful tie-dye cloak and a paper plate mask decorated with jagged teeth and red.
This kinda... I'm not sure. Yeah, she might have... Maybe she could have been high. This kinda looks like a character from something. Kinda looks familiar. I'm not sure what it is, but it reminds me... I think it's a character from something. Like maybe a game or something. I'm not sure. Timu Flower. The flowery at home.
Red eyes. They carried a cardboard box, which they placed on the doormat before announcing themselves as the Box Demon.
I am the box demon.
A faint lullaby played
What
in the
have-
background as they walked away into the darkness. Thankfully, the box was empty. People online later suggested the figure was dressed as Dandy, a
Yeah.
Roblox horror character.
Roblox! Oh shoot, that's a lot of viewers. Oh, hi. Welcome. Hi. Welcome in. Welcome. Hi. Magical Girl Basil Flauty, thanks for becoming a pack rabbit. Welcome. I'm Jimmy Blake. Thanks for becoming a pack rabbit. Hi. Abby, thank you so much. Abby Snow, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I'm Koala Wamai, VTuber ASM artist. Currently we're just watching spooky videos together. Yeah, it's a little out of season, but me personally, I like to watch scary things. I like to watch scary things any time of the year. It'll be the middle of, it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be like February, and I'll be like, hey, anyone want to watch Midsummer? No one ever wants to watch Midsummer. They think it's too disturbing. I've yet to have successfully convince anyone to watch Midsummer with me. Yes, there is always good time for horror. Yes, I do ASMR, and I play games, and I yap a lot. Yeah, I'm doing good. Hello, Arlie. Hi, I'm doing good. Never seen that movie? I've heard it's good. It is good. It's very scary. Not like scary, like the imagery is very like disturbing. So like if you're not into that, like probably don't watch it. Of course, hope you enjoy Snowable company and can be super sweet but bully a little when they want attention. Seems super sweet. Love the horror guys. Just got done with ASMR, so might be some sleepy cuties who are lurking, but have an amazing night. Okay, have a great night. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for sharing your community with me. Oh, I got a big raid at Tole. I was just introducing myself to everybody and talking about how much I enjoy horror content. Yeah, a good horror movie will leave you a bit disturbed. Yeah, much better than... Also, yeah, we're also dealing with the box demon. So context for this video. Somebody comes to somebody's house wearing a mask from... Also, the fact that they're dressed up from a character from a Roblox horror game is... I don't know what to call that. I don't know what to call that. I don't know what to say, but what do I say to that? What do I say to that? Anyways, they walk over, put a box down, stand on the box, and then they whisper, "I am the box demon," and then they walk away. I'm not sure. Is this what happens when you have no hobbies? Or maybe this is the hobby. 10 out of 10 prank. I feel like this is a prank. I feel like this is a prank. I don't think anything malicious was meant from this. I don't think. It's just kind of weird. I am the box demon. Yeah, hang on.
North York, Pennsylvania, was awoken by strange movement on their porch. The footage showed a person wearing a colorful tie-dye cloak and a
Dangerous
paper
hobby
plate
in this
mask
state,
decorated
no.
with jagged teeth and
Yeah,
red eyes.
definitely dangerous.
They carried a cardboard box, which they placed on the doormat before announcing themselves as the Box Demon.
I am the Box Demon.
I don't know, if you're gonna be doing stuff like that, maybe...
A faint lullaby played in the background as they walked away into the darkness. Thankfully, the box was empty. People online
Scary,
later
it's just
suggested
weird.
the figure was dressed as Dandy, a Roblox horror character, though the meaning behind the act remains a mystery.
Why? It's just weird.
In June 2023,
I don't know. If you're gonna do stuff like that, I think you should invest in a bulletproof vest. You know, because you might get shot. Someone might shoot you. Yo. Yeah, you only live once, and that lifetime could be cut short by a significant margin if this is your pastime. You live absolutely, yeah, it's probably not the best idea. Yeah, maybe don't, maybe don't do that. You know, you never know. Someone's like, oh my god, I don't know, like, you don't know, maybe the person might be itching. They might be like, you don't know, you could be knocking on the door of somebody who like really wanted to shoot somebody, but there's no like reason to do that, and they don't want to go to jail. So they're like, oh my, and so like if you do that, like, oh my god, oh my gosh, let's go, honey, get my gun. I'm gonna pop this fucker in the chest. You know, they could be itching for it. And they're like, yes, let's go. Why do you think I bought the ring door light? So I can shoot, so like I won't get in trouble. Just show the video to the police and they'll be like, okay. All right. Pay good money for this. I'm finally gonna use it. Yes, let's go. Someone that's having it's my moment. Let's play a game, Roblox Steven. So don't trick or treat at home. There is a firearm in this house, yes. However, it is quite heavy, and I also do not know how to use it. So don't worry about it. Although Teddy has been has promised to take me shooting eventually. So like eventually I will learn how to use it. But it's just for protection, don't worry. Don't worry. Yes. It's good to know to at least handle one safely. Yeah. You know, better safe than sorry. You know, you got people walking around. Oh, thank you for becoming a pack rabbit. Panda fan. You gotta know, cause like, there's like people walking around saying that they're the Box Demon. You gotta be careful. She will attack you expired milk. That's crazy. Crazy. Jesus. Drink milk one day after the expiration date and you never hear the end of it. Okay. I am out of water and I underestimated how much I would yap for this stream. So I'm going to get some water so I can yap more. I'll be right back. Do I not have my BRB screen? Hang on. Hang on. we just go. BRB. It's not my job. It's not my fault. This is not my regular setup. Okay. Any scuff that happens for the next couple of months isn't my fault, mind you. Okay. What is it? Okay. Well, anyway. Man, Teddy, you make her work like this. Yeah. It's awful. Anyway, I'll be right back. For realsies. Hello, I'm back. Also, Steven is in here. Isn't that right, Steven? You want to say anything to the chat, Steven? Steve? No, he does not. Okay. He's very talkative when he wants treats. Very, very talkative when he wants treats.
Instagram model Guste Genescate noticed something disturbing in their doorbell footage. An unknown man had been following Guste home and was seen lingering around the house. He looked through the windows and wandered around the property. Terrified, her mother called the police, but they couldn't take action since no crime had been committed. Unable to sleep, Guste set up a rope booby trap in the yard.
Yo.
A week later,
okay.
The man returned and tripped on it around 2 a.m. When Guste checked the camera, she saw him standing right outside her bedroom window, staring inside. She woke her mother, who banged on the window and scared him away. Another woman in the neighborhood later reported the same man. Despite having a clear image of his face, police were unable to identify him, forcing Guste and her mother to move. As of now, the stalker remains unidentified.
Bruh. Jesus. Well, we didn't
Late
do
one night in an Alexandria,
We can't do anything. He has to harm you first. then we can step in to do something. Um, and they still didn't know who he was, so they was like, okay, well then we can't stay here anymore, so I guess we'll just move then. Like, fuck.
Virginia neighborhood. A doorbell camera captured pure horror.
I mean, at least she was in like a position where she could move, right? You know, like some people, like they can't and they're kind of stuck there. So like at least she was able to at least she was able to, her and her mom were able to leave. That's why sometimes you just gotta promote somebody to missing person. I mean, at some point, yeah.
3 masked figures in full Halloween costumes stood outside a home at around 10 p.m.
What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's not Halloween. It's not Halloween. Why?
And refused to leave. One of the occupants, Shayla, initially thought it was a prank and even greeted them with Happy Halloween.
Oh.
But within seconds, the mood changed.
Oh, so it wasn't...
The trio rang the bell, shook the doorknob, and kept knocking, the knocks growing louder and more aggressive.
What the fuck? You got the Michael Myers mask. Honey, get the gun. Why is he... What the fuck?
When they couldn't force open the front door, they moved to the backyard, slashed through a wooden fence, smashed a deck screen, and pounded on the windows, taunting the family inside. They threatened to kill the occupants, telling them it's either you coming out or we coming in.
Why would you do that? What if they had a gun? What if like that first one where the dad stood on business and shot the guy? You know, like he could have the people inside could very well shoot and kill all 3 of you. Or at least one of you. But I guess some people just love to fuck around. Nah, you straight up just shoot them and call the cops. Yeah, you better bring the corpse wagon. Yeah, like, dude. Like, this is like a prime, like, yeah, it's okay. Like, this is like, they like less the finding out part, but yeah, this is like a prime situation where like if they shot and killed you, they would not go to jail because they'd be like, yeah, yeah, you had reason to believe that it was either them or you. So like they were actually threatening them too, so like yes, if you shot and killed them, like just saying, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't. I don't think they like were I would have called the cops on them. They did call the police, but like Jesus, like what the hell is wrong with you? What is the matter with you? Jeez. What having no hobbies does to a motherfucker. God. Fucking play Stardew Valley or something. I don't know.
The ordeal lasted about 6 to 10 minutes before the masked intruders finally left, but not before leaving the family shaken and fearful. The homeowner's daughter later said they were forced into hiding and felt unsafe in their own home.
She just died, so it's just like,
That's
I'm just glad I
probably
was there.
PD convert.
Now she's in fear. She don't want to stay there by herself. It could have been bad.
But the response time of a 9mm is how long it takes. Yeah, she says you could. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, stand on business. Stand on business. Shoot them. Jesus.
Like being very transparent.
Authorities launched a criminal investigation
I
for
hate
attempted
violence, but
burglary
believe
and
it or
criminal
not,
threats.
at a certain point, fuck around, find out. Exactly. Yeah. Fuck around, find out. Jesus. Alright, let's see. You guys suggested the Mr. Baller fellow? Not Mr. Ballin, not Mr. Baller. Is he a baller? Is he a ball? I'm so funny. I'm not. The orb. Let's see. He will never be ballin'. Are you sure, Tentacola? I don't know, he might be ballin'. Oh, wait, actually, before that, there was like a couple ghost videos I wanted to watch with you guys. These are, I don't know, what? These are videos of little creepy things happening.
While driving down a stretch of highway, Felicity D promptly takes out her phone after noticing something down the road. It had caught her attention, considering that no other cars were on the road. It was just her and the driver alone on this highway when this was spotted.
What? I don't see anything. Hang on, let me turn off the... You see anything? I don't know. That doesn't really look like much. I don't know, I don't really see much. It doesn't really look like much. Can't see shit, Captain. Yeah, I don't see anything.
Now this video takes place in Arenas Valley, New Mexico,
Oh,
where
wait.
it seems that others have encountered similar experiences. Ghost sightings are nothing new to those who live around here, but this, as viewers believe, may just be the clearest evidence of something paranormal.
Why?
Although it's hard to say as to what this
Clearest evidence of something paranormal. Unfortunately, it's in 380p. It's in 320. Clearest evidence. It's like those videos. It's like, oh my gosh, we've got Bigfoot. Clear documented evidence of Bigfoot, and it's in like mind you, the video was filmed and was recorded in 2025, yet they insist on recording it in a crusty ass camera that they found from 2008 that they found at the bottom of a lake. So I know one takes it seriously when they say paranormal encounters. They're like, oh yes, fucking ghost, let me grab my fucking toaster. Like, come the fuck on. When was this filmed? Doesn't the latest iPhone have like 4 cameras? Like, come on. I don't care that it's dark.
You can see that something is moving before somehow vanishing.
It's disrespectful.
It's a bit faint, but something is there until it isn't. Now, unfortunately, not much info is given on this clip, except that it took place in New Mexico.
You have a whole 8
Yet
pixels
still,
on
as
a
many have
phone in
commented,
2020.
this footage is pretty creepy. Just who, or even what, was seen on camera?
Come on.
On a Sunday afternoon inside a small retail store, an employee working by himself decides to tidy up a few items on display. It was like any other workday at the shop. Johann Salazar would clock in and start the shift by organizing stock. But as he does his job, he all of a sudden runs to the back of the store, completely out of breath and visibly shaking. Johann, in his own words, had felt something heavy drop on his shoulders. Not sure what it was that was on his back. He looks at the security camera recording at this time and sees something that terrifies him beyond belief. This is what he saw.
Okay. A spider! There's a big one, too.
It
It
appears
looked like,
that Johan's shirt and hoodie is pulled by
like something tugged him.
Initially thinking that someone had put their hands on Johan's back, he turns around, expecting someone to be there, but to his shock, there was no one. He was absolutely positive that he felt something heavy on his shoulders. Yet, it seems that whatever weight he had felt was non-existent.
I mean,
so it seems.
If ghosts are real, they seem to be really devious little fuckers, don't they? They're always doing little creepy things to fuck with people. and they know, they just, you can't tell me they don't know it's gonna scare them, right? I mean, something on the left side of the counter was there on the recording, yeah? Maybe.
This invisible weight was most likely a spirit who was getting physical with Johan.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then its presence was definitely felt. But whether ghost or not, Johan has been left terribly shaken by this incident.
That's a little freaky.
To this day, there is yet to be an update on this whole occurrence.
He was just asking, he just wanted to ask a question. He wanted to buy something.
Now the following video comes from a mother who for some reason began to feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety while taking care of her baby. It was just her.
To be frank, if I was a ghost for the rest of eternity, I'd spend my time fucking with people too. I do obnoxious stuff like move keys around when you're looking for them, flick the light switches on and off, leave the fridge door open.
And her son, alone at home, watching the movie peacefully when things took an unexpected turn. Looking at the bathroom door, she notices that it's wide open. When she last looked, it was somewhat shut. Seeing that something was different, she grabs her phone and begins to record. Whenever something like this happens, according to her, things get very weird.
I don't know. This looks like a lot. This house looks like there's a lot of old stuff.
What she captures is unlike anything she's ever experienced. On the verge of having a panic attack, she records the bathroom when this is captured.
The shadow version.
The door is moving by itself.
Yeah. Old homes has some wild shit happen in them sometimes. Yeah. Oh.
Oh my god.
Well, it doesn't seem to be drafty. I don't know, maybe it's just like an old house. Sorry.
Please go away.
Alright, thanks for hanging out, Laughing Stock. Noise is from the ice maker in the kitchen.
You're not wanted.
Oh?
Go away. Whatever you are, go away.
Okay. Could be the house shifting. It could, yeah. Oh.
Oh
okay. You just want some Wi-Fi password.
Oh my god.
What's the Wi-Fi password? Go see. Okay, ma'am. You notice the shadow? Shadow. I don't see no shadow.
I am so scared right now. Please go away.
No. I don't think I will.
It can't be spooky.
Trying to think rationally and logically and just start to call out the cat's names. Is the cat is walks out, is like sup?
Moo?
The house I've lived in
to say that the mother was spooked out of her mind would be putting it lightly. It's the fact that she pulls in her child after sensing something dangerous that really shows this. Now she didn't see it at first, but after watching this video, she saw it. At the entrance to the bathroom, a very distinct shadow-like figure appears quickly. It's actually pretty quick when it happens, so it's understandable as to why she had missed this. But seeing how fast it moves only adds to the creepiness of this footage. Whatever this might have been seems to pop in and out quick before seemingly disappearing. Seeing this and hearing the bathroom door creak has led her to believe that something paranormal took place. But whether ghost or not, there has yet to be a definitive explanation for what was captured on this night.
Nah.
In the following video, a security guard is doing rounds at a hotel when she suddenly comes to a stop after encountering something very disturbing.
Oh.
This video took place in 2019 and was recently shared by a friend of the security guard shown in the clip. At first, the friend who posted this wasn't sure if sharing this online would be a good idea. What was captured, according to them, is something that the hotel would rather keep under wraps. Perhaps to avoid reminding people of a terrible incident that occurred many years ago.
2019,
In 1986, this exact hotel, which was formerly called the DuPont Plaza, had mysteriously caught fire, resulting in many lives being lost. Guests had no choice but to leap off their balconies as the flames had engulfed the whole building. The sight of this was hard to bear, to say the least. But fast forward to 2019, and the hotel is now rebranded and remodeled under a different company. However, from time to time, strange things would happen here. Hotel guests would report
maybe, but if it's an old house, could literally just be the building shifting. Parts of this house don't have a foundation, so it shifts a lot, and it's shitty in the winter. You can literally tell how bad the house is shifting because it cracked the trim in the doorway to the living room. Damn. So it's probably just like the house
and blame the
settling.
fire incident that occurred years ago to explain this. The following video is a prime example of what guests experience while being here. It's late at night when apparently something pulls the security guard's hair. Take a look.
70-30 in favor of it being an old house. Yeah. Huh? Did that ghost just deck her in the face? Did that...
Looking closely, you can see that her ponytail is the first thing that moves before she tilts her head. However, its movement is anything but subtle. It's as if something had yanked her hair, causing her to jerk her head in a sudden motion. According to the friend who posted this, the security guard thought that someone had ran away upon pulling her hair. But after watching this clip, that clearly wasn't the case. Her hair was definitely pulled, but it wasn't someone she could identify, let alone see. What happened here, as the friend believes, was something unexplainable.
Right?
But as always, I'll let you come up with your own conclusions. Just
I don't know, the guy who got his
hair
hoodie
being
pulled didn't freak out either. I don't know, if I felt like my hair was just like pulled randomly, I would be kind of confused.
It's late at night when a group of friends decide to enter a hospital that's been out of service for quite some time.
Did my hair get caught on
They would never come alone unless they were dared to do so,
something?
because apparently this place is not what it seems. Although seeming like an empty facility devoid of any doctors or patients, the Felix Bonis Hospital in Santiago, Chile has been said to have a certain presence within its walls.
Not everybody
now,
shifts
thankfully,
like
the lights are still on inside this hospital, which is a good thing for the group. The emergency system powering these lights appears to be running,
that's weird.
But even with lights on, the following incident remains just as frightening. This is what they caught.
Some people are kind of oblivious like that. This is a hospital? Okay, if this is a hospital, then it's... Some girl would be into that. Terrible. Okay, if it's a hospital, it's definitely haunted. So many people die in hospitals. There's probably something freaky in there. Okay, so we're here in the hospital of Felix Bonis. What time is it? What's the time? 1:08. Oh shoot, that's witching hours. That's ghost hours. Oh boy. Yay, we getting cursed with this one. What? I don't see anything. No, if you think ghosts are real, hospitals are straight up fucked. Think of all the suffering and emotions lingering in the air. And places be haunted as
just
fuck.
Walking past the group of friends. No one had noticed it, and no one realized what was captured until much later when watching the footage. Clearly, something had been there, but it's hard to say as to what exactly it was.
I don't know.
We can see what looks like
maybe
a
if you were
outline
filming
of
on the
small,
camera that wasn't from
strangely,
2003,
whoever, or
I'd
whatever
be
this
able to
was,
see that.
goes unnoticed by the group. It's for this reason that they no doubt believe that this had to be the spirit of a deceased patient who doesn't know they already passed. But ghost or not, it seems that what was captured will currently stay a mystery.
I don't know. If you're going ghost hunting, you need to. I don't.
Taking place inside someone's apartment, a man immediately stops what he's doing to record.
Okay, if you're going to go ghost hunting, I don't care how much money it costs for you to get a 4K night vision crisp camera. You pay it. If you insist on capturing ghost footage, you pay. You get yourself a good camera. So it does. I should be able to see the dust particles floating in the air on that camera. Hope everyone's doing all right. We're vibing. We're vibing. Just watching spooky videos. Oh, I'm not particularly spooked. No, not really. There were a couple of the ring camera videos. A lot of them were like pretty fucked up, but other than that, not really. Yeah, ghosts only show up on bad film quality. Yeah, ghosts and cryptids only show up on bad film quality. They must be very camera shy.
This video, as it was just now that stuff started moving.
And just stuff is moving, right? So this has moved. I thought it was because maybe one of the things is stuck in the blinds, and I closed the blinds, but that was one thing. The bike then fell.
Within the span of 30 minutes, things just started moving on their own. This is something that commonly happens, but not once has it ever been caught on camera. But on this night, something happens that scares the living daylights out of the man. Hoping to get something on camera, he captures this.
And I'm just kind of now trying. I tried to film other stuff when the bike moved, and I deleted that video because nothing happened. But I'm just trying to see if I'm going mad and want to catch something. I've noticed things in this flat for quite a while, but I've always put them down to like neighbours' noise or whatever it might be. But this is the first time I've kind of actually seen things move. But yeah, so
let's
I don't
see.
Really know. I want something to move, and I also don't want something to move.
Okay, let's see.
If anything is here, please, by all means, feel free to move something. Move one of the leaves here. Move one of the leaves.
Okay,
there,
maybe don't.
The bike again, or the remote.
Maybe if ghosts are real and there is a ghost in your flat, let's not egg it on. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I don't know. Why not? Well, if ghosts are real and there is a ghost in my apartment or whatever, I would prefer if they left. You know, I prefer if they left or something, you know, like something like that. It's like, you know what, they're a ghost, so they're not gonna, you tell it you don't pay rent, you gotta go. Yeah, you've been freeloading in this place for too long. It's my name on the lease, sir. This ain't your place. Is that why the rent is so cheap? Would you live in a haunted place if the rent was cheaper? Well, let's say like the ghosts aren't malicious, but like it's haunted and like creepy weird shit happens all the time, especially late at night, would you? You live in a haunted place, if that counts. Yeah, you know, like, yeah, like just like creepy weird shit is gonna happen all the time, well, especially at night, but like the rent is like significantly cheaper. They just drink your milk without asking. Yeah, they drink your milk, and they're always like moving stuff, and like they're always like moving stuff and like hiding your keys and like doing all that stuff. It's like, but the rent is very cheap. I think I would, because they're not evil. They're just annoying. Are you thinking of yeah. They're not evil, they're just annoying. That's not too bad, right?
Don't be scared. Although I am a little bit scared. It's one of those horrible situations where you kind of want something.
Oh, okay. Well, it just fell, right?
No way.
It just fell, right?
I'm so glad I got that on.
Ghosts are not its hands if you touch my shredded cheese.
Holy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe I actually got that on film. Please move it again.
No
You've
way,
done
it
that
just.
much. Please feel free to
No
move
way,
it
it
again.
just fell.
This, by the
it
way,
goes.
has been propped up here for ages. This has not been moved. It's never moved before. Like, I'm actually shaking a little bit. Sorry for swearing, by the way.
Well, if it is a ghost.
Oh my god, I'm so happy that I've just got that.
That ghost is kind of a dick. Okay, he's knocking over his guitar. That's really rude. Those things are expensive. He's just knocking over his guitar without a care in the world. Asshole. Asshole ghost.
And like this, yeah, this isn't like attached to anything. Like there's nothing attached to it. Like I haven't kicked it. I haven't moved anything.
I think it just fell, my dude.
It's been, yeah, like, well, I don't know how it was now, but it's been kind of propped up for a long time. I'm gonna lay it down a bit more.
So what kind of actual sociopath just leaves their guitar at the case like that? That's how it gets down.
I absolutely knew.
Had it not been for him lifting his guitar and showing an up-close view of the neck, then this definitely would have raised some suspicions. No strings are seen anywhere besides those on the guitar, and nothing around it.
At least put it on a stand, right?
It's the lack of questionable evidence that makes this possibly real, and therefore pretty creepy. Yet this only gets creepier when noticing how sudden the guitar moves. Usually, when things aren't prop right, a slow shifting movement occurs before gravity takes over and makes it fall fast.
Okay.
This, however, immediately moves as if someone had forcefully pushed it. To the man, whatever happened here was surely
literally
paranormal.
just propped up against
but of
the
course,
wall.
whether or not that's so is up to you to decide. Was something supernatural?
That looked like a natural fall to me.
Is there something else that could possibly explain this?
Yeah, that looked like a natural fall to me.
Now, not much is known about this next video, considering that the original source is unknown.
Okay.
Where it came from.
What the fuck is this? What the actual fuck is? What is that? What is that? What is that? Why? Why do you have this? Who? You just drive it in, alright. We just diving in. Let me grab the crucifix. What the fuck? Why? For what? For why? I hate
Which
it
exactly
here.
posted this first remains a mystery, but despite lacking any sort of context, the video is still pretty creepy.
Okay.
Taking place in what appears to be a museum,
Oh,
a group of people
okay,
visit
it's a
an exhibit
museum.
that is, well, a bit disturbing to say the least.
Okay, it's a little
As with
weird.
most lifelike mannequins, there's something quite off-putting about these, but it's not the mannequins that make the video pretty spooky, but rather something else.
Probably
Whoever
a
took this video
demon.
seems to have not realized that they captured something unusual during this moment. They didn't see that this was captured.
Okay, what was captured? Okay, so this is a museum. Okay. If it's a museum, it makes a lot more sense. I thought someone just had, like, this fucking creepy ass doll in their house. I don't know what it is, but I'm pouring holy water in that room until it goes away. Yeah. Okay. I don't see anything. I would be gone at this point. Should I get rid of my doll that looks like that? Oh. Eh?
Appearing out of nowhere, a shadowy figure resembling a woman is
What? That doesn't look... Well, it's a mirror, right? If it's a mirror, you should see... But it's a mirror. If it's a mirror, you should see more details of a person. It doesn't look like a person at all. It's fucking creepy. A shadow? Then where's the person? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Demon, next question. Demon, next question.
caught in the mirror. Its reflection is captured, but the person casting it is nowhere in sight. That is, if it was a person. While some viewers agree that it was a person in the sense that they used to be alive, many believe that this was its ghost. Seemingly
Why are they walking like that? Who walks like that? Who walks like that? That's fucking weird. Whoop. No. Who walks like that?
Mysterious shadow passes by, unfazed by the group of strangers in the room. It's as if they've been here for quite some time.
No, they don't.
But like most videos, without much context, it
That's
remains
weird.
unknown as to who
That's
or
fucking
what
weird.
was caught on camera.
Also, it just looks like, no, that's weird.
If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation,
Demon,
you
next
can send them over
question.
to scaryvideos444@gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video.
Yeah, all he does is say, like, there's no explanation for what this happened.
On the night of October 4th of 2024, a young couple watches a scary movie that's already been seen by the boyfriend. It's his girlfriend's first time watching the film, and it's exactly how he imagined she would react.
Also, Exorcist, the first one, don't bother with the sequels at all. Don't bother with them at all, especially the second one. Dear God, that was, I think that was probably like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. The second one. The first one though, goated movie. Goated.
Completely scared. It's for this reason that he films this video.
It might not be like super scary by today's standards, but still a good watch.
Now, viewers agree that it's already creepy enough that they live in a house filled with clown dolls and other horror-themed items. But what was captured beats any of those things. As they watch this movie, this is caught.
What happens?
And of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, by this sign of the Holy Cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit.
I also film myself watching movies. He wanted to film the girlfriend's reaction.
You killed your mother! You killed your mother! You killed
Yeah. Oh. Is that all that happened?
What was meant to be a funny clip of his girlfriend's reaction turns into something they would see in their movie. Out of nowhere, the clown doll on the wall moves.
My bro sound like
what just happened, she continues watching the film while the boyfriend remains speechless, as it seems that the doll had come alive. While some think that the film had something to do with this, the couple believes that something else was responsible.
Yeah.
As it turns out, They live across a cemetery that's quite literally down the street from them.
Oh.
The following is the girlfriend's footage. Take a look.
My scary clown video.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay, so I thought I'd show you that
I mean, like, you gather a bunch of creepy shit and you're shocked when creepy things happen. They just like clowns. What's wrong with that? They just like collecting clowns.
According to viewers, it's no wonder why the doll had come alive. It only makes sense that watching a scary movie near a cemetery would lead to this. But as always, you be the judge.
What do those two things have to do with each other? What do those two things have to do with each other? Watching a scary movie near a cemetery? What does that have to do with those two things have to do with each other?
On whether or not this was paranormal.
I mean, yeah, but it looks pretty secure though. Why would it slip off like that? It's kind of weird though.
Exactly had occurred that night.
Lived on it for a second, just stop watching scary movies. Yeah, it looks pretty secure in the little swing it was sitting.
On a sunny day, somewhere on a peninsula, a man records a video of an ancient fortress that was built in 1725.
And?
Obviously, the fortress has stood the test of time, seeing that it's still intact.
Oh,
but it's not the durability of this place that baffles the man who filmed this. Instead, it's what appears at this place
looks
that's
like
left him pretty
doll.
spooked. He was taking a video while he and his brother explored the fortress. Although many tourists come here, very few know that the fort has taken the lives of many pirates who invaded the peninsula during the 18th century. Knowing this, the man
some of it
couldn't
is
help but feel a
soft,
haunting
some of
presence
it,
while being here.
whatever the hell it
Now,
was,
the
I don't
quality's
like
far
it.
from
Yeah,
HD,
it looked like
but the video still captures
during a
footage of
puppet
something
is
visible
tough, it
and
will
quite
move.
peculiar.
Really?
This
Why?
is what was caught.
Isn't it an inanimate object?
Okay.
It shouldn't move if you put it down someplace, right? The world around it isn't, though. Vibrations, but they weren't even doing anything. It didn't seem to be like, they weren't doing anything that would like shake it. It wasn't like she was like tapping the wall or anything. I don't think so.
The man who took this had no idea that something appeared around the fort. He further adds that this, whatever it was, had been inside a closed-off section to the public. There was no way that a person could have accessed this area, as no one had stepped foot there for years.
Like,
if it wasn't a person,
hey,
as many
Dan,
believe,
I'm just gonna
then
move
what exactly
their
was
stupid
this?
doll.
Now it is kind of odd how
I don't think
the
it was.
quality,
I don't
we can still
think
make out
the
distinct figures in
TV
the
made
distance,
vibrations
but this,
loud
even from a
enough
not so
to
far
cause it
distance, is hard
to
to make
move
out.
twice.
While some speculate that it might be the spirit of a pirate
I
who died
think
while crossing the fort.
believing
Others are simply
that
baffled by the clip.
requires
Although
more
uploaded in
belief
2023, this video continues to remain a mystery.
than believing it was something else.
In this last video, a man named Connor Lyle recorded something strange on his doorbell camera. It happened on a Thursday night when no one else had been outside. Connor had just come home at around 8 p.m. and was heading towards his house when suddenly he gets the strangest feeling. It was as if his body, out of instinct, had sensed something
not really.
threatening.
It slipped off the seat
Perhaps
and slipped all the
thinking
way
it was all
down.
in his
Yeah, but
head,
what
he
caused it
shrugs
to
it off
slip
and doesn't think
forward
much
like
of it.
that?
But fast forward to him looking at the
That's
footage
what I
captured
don't
of that
get.
night, and his stomach drops. The following is his footage. Watch.
It looked like someone yanked it down. That's what I don't get. That's what I don't. That's what's like how did it move forward like that? Mayhaps.
As it turns out, his fight or flight response wasn't just random, but rather completely called for. Right behind
happened?
Connor, there appears to be a shadowy figure walking by and then disappearing out of nowhere.
What shadowy
However,
figure?
after seconds
I don't
pass,
see anything.
It reappears again.
I didn't see what shadowy
But this
figure.
time,
There's nothing
a bit
there.
closer. It's as if it was making its way towards Connor.
Did you guys
Feeling
see
once
anything?
again immensely unnerved, he turns around and sees nothing. But clearly, as he would
Saw
eventually
it, but,
find out,
like,
something
bad
was behind
filter.
him.
So
What
obviously
this was is unknown,
edited.
but judging by
yeah.
Connor's reaction, viewers think it's best if he stayed away from ever encountering whatever this was. While there has yet to be any updates from Connor regarding this footage,
I didn't
this
see
incident
anything.
continues to remain unsolved.
What shadowy figure? Fake news. All right, let's try the Mr. Let's what is it? What was it called? Mr. Balling? Mr. Baller? Mr. Mr. Beast. I feel like Mr. Beast content is horror content, but like in a different way. You know? Like, you ever watch a Mr. Beast video and you think this is fucking terrifying? More in a rapidly approaching cyberpunk dystopia kind of horror. Yeah. Shocking small town mysteries. That sounds interesting. I love me a small town mystery. Don't you?
We're going to cover two very strange but very true stories. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format,
small town.
then you come
What's
to the
wrong
right
with
place
small
because
town?
That's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please invite the like button to go skydiving with you, but replace their parachute with an anvil. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications.
Fucking what? Please kill the like button. Hey, we also made Squid Games as a commentary, but also horrific and bad. People will do it's also horrific and bad. Many people will do bad things for a lot of money. Mr. Beast saw that and it's like, bet, let's make that a reality. He always does a weird way to get people to like it.
Okay, let's get into today's stories.
Alright. Mr. Ballin'. We're ballin'. I don't know what the like button did, but it's dying tonight. I guess
One
so.
afternoon in the spring of 1990, a young mother tidied up her family's living room in Pingyang Township, which is a small rural community made up of several villages in southern China. And she was almost done when she heard her 3-year-old twin daughters start to cry. And this really caught her off guard, because even though these kids were only 3 years old and 3-year-olds cry, well, her daughters basically never cried. They were like silent all the time. The girls' names were Shi Tsai and Shi Hongwu, and they'd been really easy babies because they were basically quiet all the time and just wanted to sleep. However, as they got older, their silence became more concerning. All they really wanted to do was just lay around and sleep.
Kids that never cry.
Even at 3 years old, they hadn't even said their first words yet.
Okay, that's a little concerning.
When mom heard these girls crying, she rushed down the hall to see what was going on.
Yeah.
One, just obviously to make sure her kids were okay, but two, just out of curiosity. This is so uncharacteristic to be making any noise at all. And so the mom, she burst into the nursery and she saw her girls in their crib and they were sobbing hysterically, totally upset. And the mother rushed over and she scooped them up and asked, what's going on? Are you okay? But of course the girls didn't say anything because they didn't speak. They just continued to cry. But the mom
they're 3.
Couldn't see any injuries. They didn't seem sick.
They're not very
just
articulate at that
something.
age.
She had no idea what it was. And so the mom just stood there comforting her girls until they calmed down, and then she put them back into the crib and they both went to sleep. And that was it. A couple of days later, and the twin girls were back to their normal routine, being totally silent and sleeping for most of the day. And as the girls slept in their nursery,
Is it possible for someone to be diagnosed with clinical depression at 3 years old? It's that that kind of sounds like what these babies have. They don't want to do anything all day. They just want to sleep. It's a little worrying. Possible to be born dead inside. Also, hi, Matt, and we're watching scary videos today. I mean, scary, and I don't really say. I said spooky. You know, scary is a liberal term. Video's a little low. Okay, I will increase the volume a tad. I mean, what are they gonna do? Ah, hello, mother. A strange near duel has approached our crib and attempted to intimidate us. So our natural response is to begin sobbing inconsolably. Yeah, I feel like they would still cry. Yeah, like what's going on? I mean, then again, my mom said like as a baby. I say scary is a liberal term, a liberal liberal term, because I personally would not describe many of the videos we watched today as scary. A couple of them were kind of creepy, yeah, especially the ring doorbell ones. Those were pretty fucked up. Some of them are pretty fucked up. Yeah, I mean, my mom said like I barely cried as a baby. The one with the Rick and Morty fan was kind of funny. Yeah, imagine like at like fucking like 2 o'clock in the morning, like a crazed Rick and Morty fan starts like banging on your door trying to get into your house. Where's the Szechuan sauce? And they won't stop asking for Szechuan sauce. It's Pickle Rick. Officer, please can you please send someone? There's a woman with no pants. She wasn't wearing pants. I didn't catch that, but like I believe you're the one who said that she was not wearing pants. She was only wearing a Rick and Morty shirt, banging on the door, trying to get into the house. Officers, Rick and Morty fan on my porch. Winnie the Poohing it. Yeah, like no, I don't know why she was wearing pants. I don't think she was wearing shoes either. I don't think she was wearing shoes. Dude, she wasn't even wearing shoes. What was going on? And then the minute the officer pulls up, she's like, "Oh, sorry, I'll leave now." Like, no, remember, no, she wasn't wearing pants because she's just out there trying to smash windows, apparently. Yes, that is quite the scenario. Dear God.
Mom just went around the house doing some housework, and at some point, she walked down the hallway past the girls' bedroom. Now, their door to the nursery was shut, and again, they're just sleeping and being totally quiet. The mom hasn't heard them at all day. And as she's walking down the hallway, she suddenly comes to an abrupt stop right outside the nursery door. Because distinctly, she can hear her girls making noise in their room.
Okay.
But they're making a noise that just doesn't make any sense to the mother. Her daughters were not crying or fussing or anything like that. They were talking. At first, the mother wanted to rush in there and experience this firsthand, this landmark moment of her girls speaking for the first time. But she also worried if she went in there, they might go silent.
Why?
And she'd ruin the moment. And so instead, she just pressed her ear to the door and just listened. And as she listened, she really couldn't believe what she was hearing. Because these girls weren't just babbling, saying random words. These girls were having like a full-blown conversation with each other.
Demons. Demon babies. Demon babies. Get rid of them. Demon babies. Okay. Nah, that's fucked up. That's fucking weird. If you have like a small, tiny, like a 3-year-old baby. 3-year-old baby, like, at 3 years old, yeah, a baby should be talking. But like, if a toddler is like talking like articulately and they don't have like the toddler accent, you know? That's the best way I can describe it, the toddler accent. You know what I mean. that way that babies talk, you know. And they're talking like proper. That's weird. That's fucked up. You started talking at 3.5, so no, I wasn't talking at 3. I didn't talk until I was like 3 too. Like I was not I was not a talkative baby. I don't know, honestly, minus the talking in fully formed sentences, I was quite similar to these girls, like, in which I didn't cry. My mom said I did not cry very much, and I did not talk very often either. Yeah, I would very rarely cry. Even if I was hungry, I wouldn't cry. Which was kind of annoying because that's usually the main indicator that a baby needs something is crying, and I would not do that. But, you know. Went from does not talk to full conversation with twin now, bro. That's Susu. Do not douse that thing with whole water. And now you're talking in full-blown sentences. Well, yes, I should, as I should. I'm an adult. My mom says took forever to start talking and then never fucking stopped talking. Yeah. And now I'm and now I be yapping. Yes. Yes, I am. I will be 26 in March. No, I'm not a baby.
Like adult level sentences being spoken back and forth. These girls who apparently, at least according to the mother, couldn't even speak. Like, how is this even happening? However, the more the mother listened to her daughters, the more unsettled she became. Not only because, you know, she's listening to her daughters speak for the first time at like an adult level, which is totally bizarre.
It's creepy.
But the content of this discussion her 3-year-old daughters are having made no sense. These girls were talking about stuff that they could not possibly know. The girls were talking in detail about people and events from a totally different village. A village their mother knew they had never been to, had never even heard of, and certainly didn't know anybody who lived there. Now, in basically every other part of the world, if a mother suddenly heard her 3-year-old twins, who had never said a word before, suddenly having adult-level conversations with each other about people and places that they can't possibly know about, that might be enough to spurn that mother to at least call their doctor. But this mom?
The doctor?
She lived in Pingyang Township.
What's the doctor gonna do? Is that a medical condition? What's the doctor gonna do? Doctor, help, my children are LARPing as medieval peasants. The doctor called a priest. That's what I'm saying. Who else would you call? I mean, yeah, but like, what's the doctor gonna do? That doesn't seem like they're sick, right? I don't think so. Or maybe there's something wrong with their brain. I don't know. Or something right with their brain. Maybe their brain is braining too hard. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right. I don't know what a medical professor, what a doctor would tell. I don't even know if a doctor would believe you. Unless they like you showed them a video. Like they probably wouldn't believe you. Like what doctor is going to be like they're probably not going to believe you. I wouldn't. Like, you know, they'd probably be like, "Oh, no." A religious doctor? Yeah, maybe.
And that meant, you know, when she heard what her daughters were saying, as alarming as it was, she actually did know what was going on. Pingyang Township has a very strange secret. And that secret is that of the approximately 7,000 residents who live there, over 100 claim to be the reincarnated spirits of people who have died traumatic deaths. And this is not just some wacky thing these people are saying. No, in Pingyang Township, it's not just those 100 people who believe they really are reincarnated. It's the whole community. All 7,000 some odd people 100% believe that these people truly are reincarnated.
Okay.
And so how that plays out is that periodically the reincarnated folks will go to a non-reincarnated person in the township and will claim things like, hey, in my past life, your family owed me a debt. And so now you're going to pay it out. And these non-reincarnated people...
That's very convenient. Very convenient.
will absolutely pay that debt. Or in other cases, there have been fights, physical altercations that have come from a reincarnated person approaching a non-reincarnated person and basically saying, in a previous life, you or your family or your relatives insulted me in some capacity, you know, my previous self, and we're going to fight about it right now. And those fights take place in this town, and it's totally normal. But the interactions between the reincarnated and non-reincarnated people in this township, it's not just about conflict. In fact, there's been lots of decisions made in this township that are designed very specifically to avoid conflict between the reincarnated and non-reincarnated. For example, there was a little boy who claimed to be the reincarnated spirit of a pig who was butchered in town. And the butcher, who this boy said butchered him when he was a pig, well, the butcher, to make sure he was not offending this boy or potentially other people who were, you know, the reincarnated spirits of other animals he had slaughtered, the butcher shut down his business just to be like, I don't want to offend you all. I'll find something else to do with my life.
Oh,
and so when
I thought maybe he was gonna start like killing the animals in like a more humane way. Instead of like doing whatever he was doing, I thought he'd do it in like a gentler way. If there's a gentle way to butcher an animal, I don't know. But he's like, nah, we packing up. Packing up shop. Okay. I heard something like that is the case I heard in the States about this boy who was telling his mom he was killed by a backhoe or something and was able to tell her his name, etc. in his past life. They looked it up and apparently, yeah, the guy the kid was claiming to be was a real person who was in fact killed in an accident involving a backhoe. Very interesting. Usually by then the animal's already dead, so I guess there is indeed not a gentle way to butcher an animal. Someone who grew up with hunter family members. We have cancel culture even in small towns in China. I guess so. Well, desecrating the dead. I mean, we just started watching it. So far, I'm really enjoying it. There's like an ad coming up and I don't want you guys to miss anything, so I'll be back. Okay. Yeah. Hey yo, what? I gotta go to work now. My load is ready. That's what he said. When? Oh, the inflation. Also, that was a mistake. I meant to turn it to 20,000, but I don't know, inflation. I'll change it back to tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no points inflation. Also, you guys have a lot.
His mother heard the sound of her twin girls, who had never spoke before, suddenly having this detailed conversation about people and events from this other village. As jarring and shocking as that was for her.
All right. I'll give you guys one for free, okay? That's a good boy. There you go. For free. For free. Aren't you guys should be grateful. You gotta self-vet and lean, just get behind this. Don't even have 20k? Yeah, okay. I'll make it 15k. Yeah, 120k value for free. Yeah. What a generous streamer am I. Also, hello Cody, how are you?
Because she lives in Pyongyang, she instantly understood that the only way my girls could have that information and be able to have this conversation is if they are reincarnated spirits. And so this mother did what she thought was right, which was not to call a doctor, but instead to get the word out to the people not just in her village, but across the Pyongyang township that her twin daughters are actually reincarnated spirits. The mother's hope was that perhaps there was still family of these reincarnated spirits in this other village her daughters were referencing in their conversation that would find out about this, and maybe they'd want to come here and meet their family who now live inside of her daughters. And sure enough, less than a week after this mother got the word out,
if you
this
end up
man
in
and
like
woman
a
who she
different
didn't know
town,
came knocking
that's
at the
not
door.
really much
When
of
the
an
mother
isekai,
let them inside the
is it?
house, her girls
Hello,
immediately
Flo.
recognized them.
How are
One
you?
of the twins said that this was her mother and father from her previous life. Then the twins, these little 3-year-old girls, went on to tell this unbelievably complicated and sophisticated story about how in their previous life, these twin girls were not actually sisters. Instead, they were best friends, and together they had taken their own lives approximately 1 month before they were reborn in the bodies of these twin girls. And so after that, the twins just continued talking to this man and woman for quite some time, giving specific details about this village that, again, these girls, at least according to their mother, had never been to before.
Is it bad for is it wrong to say that if I saw like a 3-year-old toddler like talking like an adult, that I would feel like profoundly repulsed? Like I'd be like, ew, that baby's talking. Like, is it wrong for me to say that? I'd be like, like, stop that. Like not even with the baby accent or nothing, just full on regular talking. Like not speaking coherently. No, I'd be weirded out. Yeah, I was about to say, oh, that's cute. I was like, oh yeah, they don't on the live. I mean, it's kind of nice that if you died and you got reincarnated and you were your best friend's sister in the next life. That's pretty cute. Cole will be the first to have a mutant baby. X-Men mutants, you'll kick them out. No. That depends. Is the baby talking incoherent sentences at 3 years old? If not, I'd be like, disgusting. Imagine just talking in old English. Mother. Excuse me, Mother. It has come to my intention that you insist that I go to bed. I withdraw to my chambers for the evening. I'd like to disagree, as it is only 7:30. and I do not feel tired yet. As such, I would like to stay awake for a little more time, as I have many, many, many important errands and activities to take care of. So I will not be going to sleep, Mother. And I want you to know that if you attempt to force me into my chambers before I am ready, I will throw myself onto the ground and I will scream. Frankly, that would be both embarrassing for both of us, Mother. So I pray you reconsider. Reconsider. Frankly, I find it ridiculous. 7:30 at bedtime? I am 4 years old now. I believe that I should be allowed to stay up till 8. 7:30 might have been okay for an infant, but I am 4. Yeah, I don't know. If they talk like that, I don't know if I could take them seriously. Yeah. Betty's baby would be like for the emperor.
Also gave intimate details about these teenage girls' lives and even had information that was very specific to what happened to them when they took their lives and, where their bodies were found. Again, information these girls shouldn't have. And then at some point, the mother of the twins asked this man and woman, like, are these details they're giving you accurate? Is this true? And the man and woman said, yep, it's all true. And then at some point, the twins turned to their biological mother and they told her that the reason they had been silent to this point was because they were trying to keep their reincarnation a secret. And also, the reason they slept all the time is because when they slept, they would dream about their previous lives, which they claimed to miss. To this day, no one's ever been able to offer a better explanation for how these twin girls, these toddlers, had such accurate information about people they had never met and places they'd never been to.
Yeah,
basically, the only explanation that works is that they must actually be the reincarnated spirits of those teenage girls. Pingyang Township remains a hotspot of alleged reincarnations, and nobody knows why. As many of you may already know, we launched the Mr. Ballin podcast 3 years ago on Valentine's Day 2022.
Oh,
now, it was totally
romantic.
unintentional to launch the show on Valentine's Day, but after doing that, we decided to kind of make it an annual event that every Valentine's Day, we not only celebrate our love for our partners and families and friends, but also our love for the strange, dark, and mysterious. And so to celebrate this year's Valentine's Day, you see what we did there? We are going to host our very first live show of the year, and it will be totally free right here on YouTube. All you have to do is click the link in the description, and that will bring you right on over to the scheduled live show so that you can set a reminder and get a front row seat. Valentine's Day is on Friday, February 14th, and the live show starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's going to happen right here on YouTube for free, so go ahead and click that link and enjoy the show. Okay, so this next story is going to sound really far-fetched once it gets going. But stick with it, because the reincarnation there is a crazy plot twist.
Baby,
like, this is one of the better stories we found in some time, so stick around till the end.
This festival program. Maybe. Oh no.
On a spring afternoon in 1883, a young woman named Sarah tidied up her farmhouse in a tiny settlement called Eagle Creek in Arizona. While Sarah cleaned, Her sister Elizabeth took a bucket outside to get water from their outdoor spring. So Sarah and Elizabeth actually lived together in this farmhouse along with their respective families. The American West at this time was sparsely populated and dangerous, so it was not uncommon for families to kind of band together like this. Their husbands herded the sheep and worked the land, while Sarah and Elizabeth looked after the house and also took care of their collective 4 kids. And so on this day, as Elizabeth was out getting water, Sarah continued to tidy up the house with one eye on the kids, making sure they were okay, when all of a sudden, the family's dogs, who were leashed up outside, began barking really aggressively. Now, for Sarah, this was really alarming because the dogs typically were pretty docile and didn't make a lot of noise. So clearly, something was going on outside. And so Sarah told the kids to stay inside, and she quickly went outside onto the porch to see what the dogs were barking at. And so once Sarah was out on that porch, she immediately surveyed the area out in front of her, and off to her left and off to her right was just rocky scrubland.
I would say
and
have
then
fun,
right in front
but
of their house
I
was
don't
this
think you
big
will.
sandy hill that kind of obscured their view off into the distance. And the dogs, who were
See you
leashed up
later.
right in front of the property out in the front yard, they were all looking right at that hill and barking at it. At first, Sarah couldn't understand what the dogs were even barking at. I mean, she looked around a few more times to see if she was missing anything, but there was nothing happening out here. But then, as Sarah continued to stare at this hill where the dogs were still barking, she suddenly saw this huge creature emerge over the top and begin coming down the hill in her direction. It was this massive 4-legged creature with red fur, and its back was all twisted up. And on the back of this creature was this man, except it was not a normal-looking man. His face was horrible and sunken, and his mouth was in this huge grin. And as she stared at him in total shock and disbelief, she saw he was missing eyes. Now, Sarah was a deeply religious person. And so as she's watching this creature being ridden on by this person come charging towards her, all she could think was, this is the devil. The devil is riding on this red creature and it's coming to get me and my family. And so instinctively, she just turned, bolted inside the house, barricaded the door with the kitchen table, and then rounded up the 4 kids and sat in the kitchen, huddled over them, praying to God to save them from the devil.
I mean,
but
what
as
else
she
can
was
you
doing
do
this, Sarah
in that
suddenly heard this
situation?
blood-curdling scream come from somewhere outside. Then she knew it sounded way too human of a scream to be coming from the devil or the creature it was riding on. And then
Sounds
she
like a
remembered
reasonable
her sister was
conclusion.
out there getting water. That
Oh,
scream almost
shit.
certainly came
Of the
from her
dog.
sister. But
Oh,
Sarah
yeah,
was
the
so scared, she
dogs.
couldn't move.
Right.
And she had these 4 kids to look after. And so instead of going out to try to save her sister, she just held the kids closer and continued to pray,
Oh, fuck the
hoping
sister, I
her
guess.
sister would survive. Hours later, Sarah was still inside the barricaded house, clutching the children, praying, and her sister Elizabeth had not made another sound, and she had not come back to the house. So she's been
That'll
gone
learn.
for hours at this point. And Sarah feels
Rip
horrible.
Elizabeth.
All she wants to do is go out there and find her sister, but she just feels like she can't leave her kids, and she knows the devil is out there, so she can't go out there. But just then, she hears footsteps out on the porch, and then she hears the sound of the doorknob turning and then bumping up against the barricade, and Sarah immediately thinks, it's the devil. The devil's come back, and so she screams, and the kids are screaming. But then, on the other side of the door, Sarah hears the sound of 2 familiar voices. It was the sound of her and Elizabeth's husbands. They had come back from herding the sheep, and they're calling into her like, hey, what's going on here? Let us in. And so this huge wave of relief came over Sarah. She rushed to the door, she got rid of the barricade, flung it open, and immediately began sobbing and telling these men about what had happened, about the devil, about hearing that scream, which she believed was Elizabeth. And oh, by the way, Elizabeth is still not back
She's
yet.
probably
No
dead.
idea what happened to
Rip
her.
Elizabeth.
And so the 2 husbands are immediately so concerned. They have no idea about the validity of the story, but Elizabeth is gone. They have to go find her. And so the 2 men, they grab their guns and lanterns, and they head off towards the outdoor spring to hopefully find Elizabeth. And so the 2 men, they began making their way down this path towards the spring. And at first they were walking, kind of keeping their composure.
What happened to
But
the
quickly,
dogs?
as they're calling out for Elizabeth and not getting a response, they just took off running. And as they turned the corner and they finally saw the spring, they also saw Elizabeth. And she was face down on the ground with blood all around her.
Yeah.
She was dead. And so as
Yeah.
Elizabeth's husband wept over Elizabeth's
True, we
body,
would take the dogs
Sarah's
around
husband
there.
rode off into town to get the local coroner to come out and investigate to see what happened to Elizabeth. The only thing that seemed fairly obvious about Elizabeth's death, at least to the two husbands, was that Elizabeth looked like she had been trampled to death. There were all these hoof prints all around her when they found her. And so the coroner, he comes out and he looks at the scene, he sees Elizabeth, and he agrees that it looks like she was trampled to death. However, when he examined the hoof prints that were all over the place, they were way too big to be a horse's hoof print. And so the coroner literally said, I can't say she died by being trampled by a horse. This was not a horse. And so the coroner wound up speaking to Sarah, who would tell him all about how the devil came over the hill on this big four-legged creature that was all red, and she heard the scream, which must have been Elizabeth, and so the devil has trampled her sister to death. That's what happened. Now, the coroner agreed with Sarah that very likely her sister had been trampled to death by something gigantic. However, he didn't believe the actual details of Sarah's story. He did not believe that the devil killed Elizabeth. And so ultimately, because the coroner just couldn't be sure what actually happened to her, he wound up listing Elizabeth's cause of death as just unknown. But the coroner's doubts did not stop the story of the devil from spreading. Before long, basically everybody on the Arizona frontier had heard about the devil and the strange creature he rode, to the point where they were given a nickname. Together, they were called the Red Ghost. Still, most people who heard this story didn't really believe it actually happened. They figured it was kind of a joke or maybe an exaggeration, you know, just sort of lore passed around town. But over the next few years following Elizabeth's death, sightings of the so-called Red Ghost became much more frequent and more strange. Many campers claim to have seen the Red Ghost trotting through the Arizona wilderness. In fact, some of these people claim that in the middle of the night, the Red Ghost would appear and trample on their tents. One cowboy claimed he got close enough to the Red Ghost that he was able to actually lasso its neck. However, the Red Ghost, in turn, took off so quickly and so powerfully that the cowboy got dragged and had to let go. And so stories like these, run-ins with the Red Ghost out in the wild, persisted for years, until about a decade after Elizabeth's death, this farmer in eastern Arizona happened to look out his window, and there, standing in his turnip patch, was the so-called Red Ghost. And this farmer had heard all the stories about the Red Ghost, and he had already made up his mind about what he would do if he ever ran into the Red Ghost, and that would be to shoot it. And so what did he do?
Honestly?
He grabbed his rifle.
Standing on business. we stand based. I dare him to come over. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna pop him right between the eyes. Honestly, based.
He leaned out the window and he fired. And the Red Ghost crumpled to the ground right in the middle of the turnip patch. Once the creature was down, the farmer rushed outside and ran up to the carcass to finally see what the heck the Red Ghost was, what was causing all these stories to spread over so many years. And when he got out there and actually looked down at the Red Ghost, he knew immediately that all the stories about this creature had been wrong. It would turn out the Red Ghost was not the devil riding some supernatural monster. Instead, the Red Ghost was a combination of two very mortal beings. The first of these two beings was a creature that, if you saw it today, you would know what it was. But for folks in Arizona in the late 1800s, they would have no way of knowing what this creature was. They had never seen it before. It had red fur, a long neck, and a humped back.
A camel?
It was a camel. It had been brought to the United States from the Mediterranean to help haul supplies through the western frontier, and it had escaped captivity. But this camel alone was not responsible for scaring the people of Arizona. What terrified the people of Arizona and created the legend of the Red Ghost was the rider of the camel. When Sarah saw the rider on the camel, at first she thought it was a person. But when she looked more closely, she saw they didn't have eyes and they had this disgusting toothy grin. They just couldn't be human to her. And so she had decided this must be the devil. But it would turn out her first instinct was right. This was a person. There was a person on the back of that camel. The devil on the back of the camel was a man's decomposing corpse. And because he was a decomposing corpse, his flesh and eyes had rotted from his face, making it look like he had no eyes and gave him this huge toothy grin because there was no flesh there. Now, we don't know who this man was or how exactly he died. All we know is at some point he was riding this camel. This camel escaped. He died and somehow didn't fall off, and his dead body remained in a great seated position on this camel. And then this camel just roamed around Arizona for years with this corpse on its back.
That's insane.
Giving the impression that it was the devil riding on a monster. Today, the red ghost remains a local legend in Arizona. In fact, there's even a permanent statue of the camel in a small Arizona town called Quartzsite.
I guess you have one hell of a saddle. That's crazy.
Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's episode.
We'll watch
and also remember,
more.
we have hundreds more videos for you to binge right now. But if you want a recommendation of, which video to invest your time in, well, here are 2 great options right here. If you want more Mr. Ballin content, click on this one.
I wonder if
and
it
if you want some redacted, declassified
well,
mysteries
if there's
with Luke Lamana,
nobody controlling, like if
right,
the guy is
time,
dead, right? So it's not like he's
today we're gonna
autoplay. Hang on, like it's not like he's like controlling it so he can like stop it or like swerve out of the way. It's just running. So I guess it's entirely possible that it could just run over a woman. But like that's for years though. For years he never fell off. That's insane. All right, let's static. Oh wait, no, I was just replaying the story again. Probably the first camel in Arizona and manages to trample some chick to death. Yeah, it's really not doing a good job for like, positive representation for the camel community. I'm disappointed. Maybe it was drinking from the spring and didn't like people. Yeah, I'm assuming that's probably what it was. And I was about to ask, like, oh, how did it survive? But like, camels are literally built to like live to go for long periods of time without drinking water. So, yeah. And like, Arizona is like a desert state, and like camels are built for the desert. So like, yeah, he was in his element. Yeah, pretty much natural habitat. That is a crazy story. I wasn't expecting something like that. Starts off as like, okay, this is bullshit, and goes to, oh, per camel. Like, like at first I thought like, oh, maybe it'd be like I don't know, like some sort of mass hallucination thing. Like, I don't know, like maybe people, I don't know, maybe people like were eating something and it turns out that thing was like drugs, and like it just turns out everybody was high. I kind of thought the camel during the initial description, but killing someone threw me off. Yeah, and also because like also it's like the person didn't have like eyes, and I was like, well, what do you mean they didn't have eyes? Thought they were tripping until the reveal. Yeah, I guess a camel could probably fuck someone up if they wanted to. Yeah, they're huge. It could definitely trample someone to death. People cannot have eyes. Yeah. And that kind of explains why it was just running at full speed, because like nobody was controlling it because the person there had died. I'm trying to find one more video for us to watch before I end stream for the night. It can't be too long because Teddy will be home soon. Yeah, we're watching Static. It's the Static channel. It's my favorite show. You like it? So thanks for the hydrate. My favorite show. Eyes are overrated. I'm rightfully stuffed with food. Cole's going to see how this game goes, so forgive me for lurking. That is totally fine. I love lurkers. Twitch doesn't like lurkers very much, but me personally, I think lurkers are pretty based. I love this part. The Static really showed some emotion. Yeah. Yeah. Twitch hates fun. Yeah. I'm technically lurking, but whenever I hit load screen or a moment I'm not in a firefight, I tab at and comment. That's nice. I like that. Okay, this sounds pretty interesting. It's Fallout 76, so there's a lot of load screens.
2014, a sheriff's department in a little town in Oregon conducted a search of a huge 20-acre farm tucked away inside of a forest.
Okay.
A local man had gone missing recently, and this farm was one of the few places they knew he had been. Very quickly into this search, a deputy was walking around the outside of the barn when he saw something strange on the ground. At first, he had no idea what it was, but as he got closer, it became very obvious. Not only would this discovery become front-page news all across the country, but it would also lead investigators to discover something much more sinister going on in that little town. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please offer to make the like button a cup of coffee, but be sure it's full of coffee grounds. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
No sugar, nothing. Sandy coffee. I love my coffee to have a little bit of texture to it. Yeah.
By most people's standards, Susan Monica's life had been pretty good. She had a small but very close group of friends, she had a great job working as an engineer, and she lived in one of the most exciting cities in the world, San Francisco, California. But Susan was not happy. Moving to the big city was not so much a choice as it was a product of life and circumstance.
Okay.
Deep down, Susan had always been someone who preferred peace and quiet and being alone, things that were in rare supply in a big city like San Francisco. Many nights after work, Susan would come home to her apartment and she would sit there and dream about moving away from the city and living off the grid somewhere on a farm, raise her own food and be totally self-sufficient, away from everybody else in the world. And then one day in 1991, when Susan was 43 years old, she made that dream a reality. That year, she wound up purchasing a 20-acre farm located in a forest in a little town in Oregon called Weimar. However, this farm was really not a farm. There was nothing on it. There was no house for Susan to live in, there was no barn for her animals or tools, there was no running water, no electricity, no septic system. It was just pure Oregonian wilderness. But to Susan, it was perfect. The property kept her far away from other people, and she liked the idea of having to literally build her own farm. After all, she was an engineer by trade, so she actually knew how to build buildings efficiently and safely, and she was a big, strong, sturdy woman who was not afraid of manual labor. So, when Susan finally arrived in Weimar and made her way up the winding dirt road through the forest and arrived in front of her property and looked out at the vast, rugged landscape for the first time, she was filled with a rush of excitement. Even though there was nothing on her 20 acres, it already felt like home. Over the next several months, Susan would transform these 20 acres into a neat little farm, complete with a big barn and a shack for her to live in, and a few animal pens for livestock. However, after the farm was built, Susan realized that building the farm was actually not the hard part. The hard part was maintaining the farm, going out there every day and doing all of her chores, feeding all the animals and doing all the different projects she had in mind. It was exhausting. And so not long after the farm was complete, Susan realized that as much as she wanted to be totally alone out there, she had to set that aside and hire some help. And so Susan printed out all of these help wanted flyers and put them all over town in Weimar, and before long, people began making their way up to her property to inquire about the role. Most of these applicants were people who struggled to find work elsewhere, either because they lived a sort of transient lifestyle, bouncing around from place to place, so no one was ready to hire them long term, or because they had a criminal record and just straight up could not get a job. But Susan didn't care about either of those things. All she cared about was the people she hired would work hard and they would respect the peaceful, calm atmosphere she was fostering on her farm. Basically, do the work and leave me alone. And over the next 20 years, Susan would find dozens of people who were able to do just that. Most of them would work for Susan only for a short period of time. Others would stick around for a little bit longer, but eventually all of Susan's workers kind of rotated pretty quickly and moved on to other things. And when that happened, Susan would simply put up more help wanted flyers in town and hire more people. And in all the 20 years that Susan had been hiring these temporary workers at her farm, after they did move on and went somewhere else, Susan never heard about them again. However, that was about to change. On January 1st, 2014, Susan, who was 66 years old by this point, was outside of her shack out on her driveway when she happened to look up and see a car
Susan
coming
looks
up
like she
her
doesn't
road.
take any
Now
shit.
remember, she lives in the middle of nowhere. No one
looks
comes
like
out
she's
to
not
see
afraid
her. So this is a very rare
cuss
event.
you out.
And so Susan is totally keyed in on this car. And this car, they pull into her driveway, and then out of the car popped 3 young people. It was 2 young men and 1 young woman. And before Susan could even ask them who they were or why they were here, they were telling her. They said they were looking for their father, Robert Haney, who at one point had told them he was working on Susan's farm in exchange for a little cash, and also Susan was letting him park his camper on her property, and he was living in that camper. The kids said their father always checked in with them at least once every couple of months, but they had just gone this really long stretch without hearing from him, and since he didn't have a cell phone and no permanent address, they had no real way of getting in touch with him, and so they were out there looking for him to make sure he was okay. And so they asked Susan, "Do you remember our dad, Robert? And if so, do you know where he is?" Even though this whole situation was totally surprising for Susan because she almost never got visitors, so that alone was kind of jarring for her. But when she heard the kids say their dad's name, Robert Haney, she immediately knew who that was. Susan told them that she had hired their father the previous spring to help build a structure on her farm. And initially, Robert was really nice to have around the farm. He worked really hard, he kept to himself, he was quiet, and he had a dog that was really friendly and loving. But in August of the previous year, so 5 months into Robert's employment on Susan's farm, Susan would tell them that their dad totally changed. He started drinking really heavily and not really working very much and spending a lot of the day just kind of ranting and raving outside of his camper about how he wanted to exact his revenge on someone. Susan would eventually find out that what Robert was talking about is apparently one of his kids had been assaulted, and he felt very guilty that he had not been there to protect his child. And so the way Robert was handling this guilt was by drinking and thinking about getting his revenge on the attacker. Now, while Susan did understand why Robert felt the way he did and why he was kind of acting the way he was, it didn't change the fact that Robert's behavior had become very disruptive on her farm, and the one thing Susan really wanted was peace and quiet. And so she decided she would have to go confront Robert about his behavior and potentially fire him if he couldn't find a way to calm down. But before Susan ever had to do that, Robert one day just walked right up to her shack, he handed her an envelope filled with cash, and he asked Susan if she wouldn't mind looking after his dog for a while.
And Susan was so taken aback by his complete change in behavior and this request that she just took the envelope and said, okay, I'll look after your dog. And then Robert nodded as thank you. He turned around and he walked away from her. And then a few moments later, Susan's standing there with the envelope in hand, watching as Robert is climbing into some white car that had just pulled up in front of the property. She didn't know who was in the car with him. And then the car turned around and drove out of sight. Susan told the kids that had happened back in September, so about 4 months ago, and since he left, she had not heard from him, despite the fact she still had his dog, and she told the kids that a lot of Robert's stuff was still in his camper. Susan brought the kids over to the side of her property where Robert's camper was, and when they went inside, sure enough, all their father's things were all over the place, but the one item that immediately stood out to them was their father's tool belt. They knew their father was a traveling handyman. That was how he made his living. And so it begged the question, why would he leave his tool belt here if he knew he was going to be gone for several months potentially? It didn't make any sense. After leaving Robert's camper, the kids thanked Susan and asked her to please be in touch if she learned anything else about their dad, and she said she would. And then the kids got back in their car, and they began driving south towards the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. When they got there, they asked to file a missing person report for their dad. However, they learned very quickly that it was going to be very challenging to locate their dad because their dad lived this transient lifestyle with no cell phone, he had no permanent address, he had nothing that could really be traced. But the investigators agreed with Robert's children that their dad's absence was a big concern, given the fact that his last interactions with Susan had consisted of him drinking very heavily and talking about going and getting his revenge on his child's attacker. And so the sheriff and the deputies were very concerned that that was exactly what Robert had done. He had gone out and potentially murdered someone and now was in hiding. So they asked Robert's kids if they could think of absolutely anything that could possibly allow investigators to track down Robert. And at some point, one of the kids said, oh, what about my dad's EBT card? EBT cards, or electronic benefit transfer cards, are like debit cards for state welfare services. You can use the cards to buy things like groceries, and the cards are definitely traceable. A few days later, when Robert's EBT card trace came back, investigators saw the card had been used just 1 month earlier in a Walmart located about 30 minutes southwest of Susan's farm. Now, this trace obviously didn't tell investigators where Robert was right now or what kind of condition Robert was in, but they had no other leads to operate on.
At least we know that he was alive a month ago.
Go to the Walmart and see what they could find. When they got there, the investigators were led to the back room of the building where they were able to review the security footage from the previous month when Robert was supposedly there with his EBT card. But after reviewing hours and hours and hours of footage, the investigators never saw Robert on camera. However, they did see Susan on camera, and unbelievably, she was the one using Robert's EBT card. And so obviously, this was very suspicious, and right away, the investigators left the Walmart, went back to their office, and began the process of getting a search warrant to search Susan's farm.
Susan, what did you do?
Last night, I decided I wanted to treat my family to a nice homemade dessert. And so I headed to the grocery store and I picked up a trough of spoiled milk and a hammock of fermented herring, and then I headed home to blend the two together to create a nice frappe milkshake. But right before I hit blend, I got a notification on my phone that said I had just spent $2,000 on swearatawalrus.com. Now, I love to swear at a walrus as much as the next guy, but that website became so addicting for me. I was swearing at 50 walrus a night, and so I had to cancel that months ago. And so I knew that $2,000 charge could not be mine. Someone had stolen my credit card. But when I pulled out my 20-pound wallet, my credit card was still there.
It feels like you're watching a show.
Well, it turns out the Dementor that was at the grocery store with me who bumped into me as I was scooping up my spoiled milk, he wasn't just bumping into me. He was using his RFID scanner and scanning my wallet through my jeans and ripping off my credit card information. Yes, that's a real thing. People literally can scan your cards with a scanner through your pocket. Needless to say, after I discovered this, I canceled my credit card and I got a Ridge wallet. Ridge Wallet has a sleek and durable design. They can hold up to 12 cards, and most importantly, they are built with RFID.
You know what? I thought this was gonna be a NordVPN sponsorship. I thought it was gonna be a NordVPN sponsorship, not the ritual. I don't know what happens to Rob after a few messages from our sponsors. Exactly. Don't touch that dial. That's what we're doing. We're watching TV together. That's the vibe I wanted this type of stream to have. I don't know. What do you guys think? You like it? We having fun? So Jackson is as likes when he cracks himself up during it.
De-blocking technology. So if you're like me and you're tired of dementors stealing your credit card information with RFID scanners, then you need to get a Ridge wallet too. Get the best offer for Ridge with my link, ridge.com/MrBallin, and save up to 40% through December 22nd. Again, that's
they don't have any like
ridge.com/MrBallin.
aesthetic designs. They don't even have a pink one.
A few days later, on January 10th, the sheriff and his deputies arrived at Susan's property, and when they pulled onto her driveway, Susan came outside to greet them. When she asked them, what's going on, they told her, hey, we're here to search your property in connection with Robert Haney's disappearance. And before Susan could ask any more questions, the sheriff said to her, hold on, just turn around, let's go back inside, I need to talk to you privately. And so Susan, who was very shocked by this, just said, okay, and she turned around and led the sheriff into her house while the other deputies fanned out across the property to begin this big search. Once inside of Susan's house, they sat down in her kitchen, and right away the sheriff says to Susan, okay, I have you on camera using Robert's EBT card. I know you stole it, so you need to tell me where Robert is right now, or it's going to get a whole lot worse for you.
No.
And as soon as he said this, Susan's look of shock on her face quickly turned into a look of kind of relief. It was like suddenly she understood what was going on here. And she says to the sheriff, no, I didn't steal his EBT card. He gave it to me along with an envelope full of cash when he left 4 months ago, and he told me to use it to buy dog food for his dog that I'm looking after. And since Robert had been gone for all these months, she had run out of cash to pay for the dog food and now was using the EBT card. Susan also added that if she had just stolen the card from Robert, she wouldn't be able to use it because it requires a PIN number, and Robert gave her the PIN number. That's how she was able to use it. The sheriff was not totally sold on Susan's story, and so he continued to ask more questions, trying to trip Susan up about how she came to acquire this card, but Susan was very firm that Robert had given her the card, and that was it. And so after several minutes, the sheriff realized that Susan was likely telling the truth, which meant the EBT card angle was likely a dead end, and they would have to call off the search. But as the sheriff was standing up to leave the kitchen and leave the property altogether, a deputy from outside came running into the kitchen and without saying a word, just bent down and whispered something into the sheriff's ear. And as the sheriff is listening to this deputy, his face is contorting in disgust. He can't believe what he's being told. And after the deputy stands up and leaves the kitchen, the sheriff takes a deep breath and then looks at Susan and says, ma'am, you're going to have to come with us. Back at the station, a now very flustered Susan was led into a small interrogation room where she sat down looking totally anxious. She's looking around, wondering what's going on. And then the sheriff walked into the room, immediately hit record on the camera, and then looked at Susan and says, has anyone died on your property? The story that Susan would tell the sheriff that day in the interrogation room was so completely unexpected and horrific, it would make headlines all across the country. Before Susan began this story, she told the sheriff that everything she had said about Robert Haney's disappearance had been the truth. However, she had left one little detail out.
And what was
After Robert had handed Susan that envelope full of cash and the EBT card, and then climbed into that stranger's car and driven away, after that, Robert had actually come back to her farm, and recently. Susan said she discovered his return when one morning she got up and she went outside to go feed her animals when she looked over at the pig pen and saw all the pigs who would normally be laying down and lounging around at that time of the day. They were all up and they had converged in one portion of the pig pen, and they had kind of formed a circle around something on the ground, as if they were all trying to look at something on the ground. Now, Susan said this was totally uncharacteristic, so obviously something weird was going on, and so Susan dropped her food and rushed over to the fence. She climbed into the pig pen, and as she got closer and closer to all these pigs, she realized they weren't just looking at something on the ground, they were eating something on the ground.
No.
And so Susan goes right up to this ring of pigs, and she begins pulling them aside, and then right in the middle on the ground is Robert. He was laying on his back and his insides had all been torn out. It was like the pigs were disemboweling him, and the most shocking thing is Robert was still alive. He was moving his arm and groaning. Susan tried to pull the pigs off of Robert, but she said they kept coming back and really aggressively continued to eat Robert. It was like they were in this feeding frenzy. And so Susan said, you know, I thought about lifting him up and moving him, but Robert was practically split in two, and she felt like if she tried to move him, that would kill him anyways. And so Susan said she did the thing that she thought was right at the time. She left the pig pen, went into the barn, got a shotgun, ran back to the pig pen, raised the weapon, and fired it into Robert. Susan told the sheriff that this was purely an act of mercy. She was ending his suffering. After Robert was dead, Susan said she just left the pig pen, and then 3 days later, she went back into the pig pen with bags and collected the little bits of Robert that had not been eaten by the pigs. And then she took those bags of remains and chucked them into her barn on top of the trash pile. But clearly, Robert's remains had not
Susan, you should call somebody. I feel skeptical. I'm gonna say it. That seems far. I don't believe that Robert was that the pigs just randomly started eating him. I don't think that doesn't make any sense. I think she did something. Don't worry, Robert. I don't believe that.
Remained in the barn because the thing that deputy had whispered into the sheriff's ear when the sheriff was talking to Susan in the kitchen was, "Sir, we found a leg outside." It was Robert's leg, and it was found not inside of the barn in the trash pile, but out in the middle of her property, just out in the open. Susan, when confronted with that information, suggested that, you know, maybe a wild animal had gone into the barn, got hold of it, and dragged it off.
Yeah.
The sheriff didn't even know what follow-up questions to ask.
Oh, hi,
and so he just said, well,
hi.
why didn't you call 911 when you first saw Robert? I mean, maybe we could have saved him.
Fair,
or at least after he was dead,
I like
why
to
didn't you
report
tell
a murder.
someone?
I woke up and found that my pigs just ate a man. Okay, valid. Well, you can report an accident, right? You don't believe in cow? No, I believe that the pigs ate him. I think that she killed him. I think that she killed him and then fed him to the pigs. That's what I think. Because like you said, pigs will eat anything. That looks better than it's being found out months later. Exactly. Like if she just said like, I don't know what happened. Like he was here, he was being eaten by the pigs. I don't know what happened. That would be a lot easier to explain than finding out months later that you hid that. You know? That's a bit suspicious.
Susan would say that the reason she didn't tell anyone is she was afraid that if word got out about what her pigs had done, then her pigs would be euthanized and she would lose a major revenue stream because she sold her pig's meat in town.
Yes, Susan, if your pigs eat human flesh, they need to be euthanized. Yes, Susan, and I don't think anybody wants to eat a pig that ate a person. Yes, Susan. Fuck. Just use the buddy Homer gave you to my new pigs. Is she? You said, whoopsie daisy, wild goat chase, and he fell my pig pens and ate him, so I had to put him down. Like, come on. Also, if I came out to pigs randomly eating someone our lives, I'd be only bacon doesn't sound good, Exactly. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact that she saw her pigs randomly eating a guy. So you're telling me they started to eat him completely unprompted? He fell in the pen and then they started to eat him. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. If that's the case, then you definitely need to put those pigs down. if that's the case.
And she said even if her pigs were not euthanized, she was worried people in town would not want to buy her pigs' meat after they learned her pigs were attacking and eating humans.
Yes! Susan! Susan! If people find out, they wouldn't buy my tainted pork. Sadly. Unprovoked, yeah, those are devil pigs. Exactly. So it's either you killed him and you fed him to the pigs, or this is a really weird freak accident. If it's the latter, you need to tell somebody about that, Susan. That's not something you keep to yourself. Like, Susan should be scared that she'd be next? Yeah. Aren't you worried you're gonna lose a finger every time you go to feed them? Like, come on. In either case, the pigs need to be... Exactly. Like, what the fuck?
Susan would tell the sheriff exactly where they could find the bags that contained Robert's remains, and she even said she would take a polygraph test to show she was now telling the whole truth. But when she actually sat down to take the polygraph test, she kept fidgeting and coughing and doing these really dramatic sighs, and it was causing the test operator to get really inaccurate readings. And so when this first polygraph test was over, the results were inconclusive. And so the investigators made Susan take another test, but again, she continued to fidget
in a
and
lot of
yawn.
polygraph tests
the
aren't
investigators
admissible
in the
in
room
court,
watching
like,
this
most
happen
of the time.
just called off the test. And when they
Soul
did,
Plot
they said
sounds
to
like
Susan,
something I'd
hey,
watch in
we're
an
going to
episode of
search your
Tales from
farm,
the Crypts
and if
or
there is
Outer Limits.
anything on your farm that you have not told us about, you're going to be in serious trouble, because we're going to find it. At this point, Susan kind of stopped fidgeting, and she looked up at the investigators, and after a long pause, she reached out across the table and grabbed a piece of paper and a pen. She pulled it back, and she began drawing something. And after a few seconds, it became pretty clear she was drawing a map of her farm. And after the map was all drawn out, she drew a big X in the middle of it, and then slid the map back across the table to the investigators, and she said, if you go to that X, you'll find Stephen. And the investigators are like, who's Stephen? We're talking about Robert. What are you
Who the fuck is Stephen? No, oh my god. If you go to Max, you'll find Stephen. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who's Stephen? Stephen is folded under zero pressure. Sometimes polygraphs can be enough to get a search warrant on someone to get better evidence, but not enough to actually be used as evidence. Yeah. Steven is somebody's fucking... Steven, he was the fucking pig's lunch. She's getting accused of double... It's probably more. She's had the farm for like what, like six years? It's like, wait, no, not 6 years. She's had it for years, for decades, right? Oh my gosh. 20 years. Oh my god. No, was she feeding the farmhands to the pigs? Fucking why? Maybe that's why her pigs sell so well. She feeds the healthy diet of humans. Yes, they will eat it. Oh my god, fucking damn it, Susan. Never, no, do not piss off a pig farmer. You're gonna end up being pig food. You want a salad from work? Yeah, sure, I could go for a salad. I'm quite peckish. They actually say you shouldn't feed pigs alone. Yeah, because they might eat you.
Well, it would turn out Robert was not the only farmhand to die on Susan's property.
Chad,
in 2012, about a year before Susan hired Robert, she hired another man named Stephen Delacino. And according to Susan, Stephen was a lot like Robert. He was really easy to get along with, he was quiet, he worked hard. But at some point, Susan said they had a big falling out. Susan said she started to suspect that Stephen was stealing her guns in her barn, and so she went to confront him. And during this confrontation, they got into this big fight, and Susan said she didn't really remember all the details of what happened
you don't
next,
remember.
But at some point during this fight, a gun went off, and then Stephen fell to the ground in the middle of the pig pen with his head bleeding, and all of Susan's pigs suddenly swarmed him and began eating him. These stunned investigators again asked Susan, okay, if that really happened the way you said it did, why didn't you call 911 if this was like an accident?
Yeah.
And Susan would say, again, that her big fear was her pigs would either be euthanized or word would get out that her pigs were eating people, and the people in town would not want to buy her pig's meat because of that. In the end, as far-fetched as Susan's stories were about what happened to Robert Haney and Stephen Delacino, there was never any evidence that actually contradicted her claims. And so as a result, when Susan went on trial for murdering Robert and Stephen, it came down to whether or not the jury believed Susan. And they didn't.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
They believed that Susan was completely lying. And that in reality, Susan, who was known to have a very quick temper, shot Stephen and shot Robert very much on purpose, and then threw them into her pig pen. We can only hope they were dead before her pigs began eating them.
My memories are a bit foggy, but I think a pig might have shot Stephen.
More than a year after Robert's children had reported him missing, Susan was convicted of 2 counts of murder for Robert and for Stephen, and 2 counts of abusing a corpse. She was sentenced to a minimum of 50 years in prison.
I mean, she was already 66.
Susan would be overheard saying there were 17 other bodies buried on her property. However, when the police went out there and searched again very extensively, they never found any other remains.
Yeah. 50 is crazy.
So that's gonna do it.
I mean,
if you got something
she's already
out of this episode
66.
And you haven't done this already,
so like she
please
doesn't
offer
have,
to make the like button a cup of coffee.
He's probably not gonna live up
to
for another 50 years.
Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our
At that
weekly
point,
uploads.
feed her
we
to
have
the
a
damn
podcast
pig.
that puts out brand new podcast exclusive stories on Monday mornings, and on Thursday mornings we put out the remastered audio of our best YouTube videos. The podcast is called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, and it's available only on Amazon Music. Consider donating to our charity called the Mr. Ballin Foundation that provides support for victims of violent crime and the victims' families. Monthly donors to the Mr. Ballin Foundation Honor Them Society will receive free gifts and exclusive invites to special live events. Go to mrballin.foundation and click Get Involved to join the Honor Them Society today. We have 2 additional YouTube channels, Mr. Ballin Shorts and Mr. Ballin en Espanol. We put out near daily content on TikTok, Facebook, and Snapchat. Those pages are just
only on
Mr. Ballin.
Sundays.
If you want to get in touch with me, please follow me on any major social media platform and then send me a direct message. My username is @MrBallin, and I really
Okay, hang on. Yes. Back to the static channel. Let's go, static channel. Okay. I will send you guys to somebody. I'm not sure who. Yes, thank you all. The day of the Lord. Yes. Yeah, these might become a regular thing. Yeah, this might become a regular thing. Rate the story. Oh, this story was great. 10 out of 10. It was a good story. I loved it. I'll send you. How about I send you guys to here we go. I will see you guys tomorrow. Sundays, days of worship for koala. Today is spooky double stories. I guess so. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I think. Wait, let me double check the schedules to make sure I'm not lying to you. Wednesday. I'll do a stream. Yeah, Wednesday ASMR. Okay, yes. Alright, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your night. Show Momo. Not Momo. Vampy some love. I will see you guys later. Take care. Good night. Do we have a raid message? Hang on. Pat Rabbit raid. There's our raid register. Okay. See you guys on Wednesday. Yes, have a great night, everyone.